Hello there, I'm Scumbag Steve. This is Dirtbag Dewey. Thank you for joining us today for the War of Stars, the Battle of Banthas, the Encounters of Nerf Herders, the conflict in Cantinas, and the tussle of Tatooine. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you, sir. Welcome today. Welcome today to our third ever episode of Skorne's Lair. Today we are going to bring a special for this week of May the 4th, which is one of our favorite holidays and probably the only holiday that we celebrate every year. Yeah, we're going to keep it simple today. It's probably going to be a shorter episode. We're going to talk about some of our opinions over the past, well, of course, Disney opinions of Disney, because, you know, we love that. And then our opinions of the originals, what got us into them, what made us a fan, and what our opinions versus the originals and the prequels are, and how they affected us. And then we're going to do some of our same segments, but we're going to have a theme today of Star Wars, of course. And talk about some upcoming shows and games that we are really excited for in this franchise. Some of the past games that we really love and can't get enough of. And I think we are ready to go. So why don't we just jump right on in, my friend, and talk about your favorite Star Wars film. What is your favorite film?
Oof. You're going to start right off the bat, huh?
Right off the bat, man. What is your favorite film? The film that captured your childhood.
The one that really drew me in would have to be probably Episode 5.
Okay. What about it?
I've always been big into character development is the reason why.
Okay.
The way that Luke really comes into his own in that film, I think captures it a lot. And
yeah, I guess that is a gross story.
Love of cinema and character development goes all the way from Episode 1. They kept that theme all the way through.
Yeah, and by Episode 1, do you mean Episode 4, or just to clarify?
Okay.
I
do mean The Phantom Menace.
You do mean The Phantom Menace, okay.
The original Lucas LTD 1 to 6, I choose 5.
Okay. I like that answer. I would say as a kid, though, what captured me the most was Episode 6. Because my brother gave me the special edition box set, and I watched those things religiously. But Episode 5 just has some special, like, moments in it that... You know, like, at the same time, though, I will have to admit, the plot, I wish... I kind of wish it wasn't a second Death Star, you know? But I digress. I think the Episode 6 is my top pick, but the Battle of Hoth is also like one of the greatest things in the world.
Yeah.
But I love Jabba's palace. I think that's part of it. I love the redemption of Darth Vader. The Battle of Endor, like those are some great scenes that just really got me. And the special effects in. Well, you know, honestly, for special effects wise, I think Episode 5 might have to be my favorite.
I know we're going to talk about it later.
Yeah.
Well, let's touch briefly on it.
Okay.
You said Episode 6 is the redemption of Anakin. Spoiler alert. Sorry, spoiler alert.
You're supposed to warn them before
redemption
you
of Darth
say it. This
Vader.
is the second time we've done this. Okay.
Yep.
Redemption of Darth Vader.
Darth Vader gets redeemed. But
yeah.
How do you feel about the new movies taking that away from him? Because they absolutely do. The Emperor... Spoiler alert again, holy...
Okay, let's just start here. Let's just start here. If you're watching this podcast right now...
The Emperor returns.
If you're watching this podcast right now, one, you probably already know that. And two...
Yeah.
This podcast is going to be full of every single spoiler you could not want to hear if you've never watched any of these films. So if you've never watched Star Wars and you either want...
Get out if you've never watched Star Wars.
Well, there's that. Unless you need a reason to watch Star Wars, then continue to stay.
There you go.
And like you don't think you want to, because then stay. And like there's good reasons to watch Star Wars, although we are in a different time, so like maybe they don't capture you the same way they used to. But yeah.
You know what? there's probably people that have only seen the new Star Wars. I mean, they're not going to be watching us right now, but there
Yeah, our
absolutely
fans
are
aren't.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely, like especially younger audience, right? Like my
yeah,
nieces and nephews have only seen it because I made them watch it, right? Like I guess my sister and her husband were uh, definitely pushing, and those kids love Star Wars, but like I'm sure that they find the new films more iconic than the older films, even though, like to us, like it's a sin to think that, right? Like,
yeah. Nothing beats the originals.
no, not really.
Nothing.
No, uh, I will say I do like Clone Wars though. Not like Clone Wars a series. Episode
The
3,
second
Revenge
film.
of the Sith. Actually, is what
In
I'm gonna say.
the
Revenge of the
saga.
Sith is what I'm gonna say.
Oh, Revenge of the third one.
Third one. Yeah, I do really like that film, but
Yeah.
it's also way too
Again,
much. Yeah.
again with character development, watching Anakin become a Sith Lord. Yeah,
That
magnificent.
breaking point, right? That just snapping point. That was good to watch.
And him and Obi-Wan, uh, their two actors' chemistry, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they're casted together in the new series coming to Disney Plus. Because I haven't seen a pair like them since.
No.
Rey and Kylo definitely aren't. I can't even
There's
tell you
chemistry
Rey's
there.
actor name, but
I can't tell you.
Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver.
Is it Donald
definitely
Driver?
Adam.
Adam Driver. Okay.
It was close. You were so close,
Yeah.
sir.
I got Driver right. I got his last
You
name.
Driver,
I got his
yeah,
surname.
you knew half of it, and I only know that
Yeah.
because of what is that? John Oliver. John Oliver last season was obsessed with him.
I think I caught him on SNL one time, and it's the only reason I know that.
Adam Driver. I think he.
So, because the new movies, man, like the credits, I didn't care if there was an after credit scene. I beat the traffic. I didn't care. I knew I'd see it on YouTube. In today's day and age, it'd be on YouTube the very next, the same day, same night.
Yeah, at least talks about
Somebody
it.
pull out their cell phone and record it. Yeah.
Those sites.
Beat the traffic.
Yeah.
As awful as it is, beat the traffic.
It is awful, but it's gonna happen. Piracy's not going anywhere, even if it's that kind of piracy, right? I wonder how much those guys. Honestly, I have no idea how much those guys make, right? And could you imagine, like, do you think in like 77, somebody recorded Star Wars
Yeah, New Hope.
in the theater?
No,
And,
I
like,
don't think
bootlegged it?
cameras are that prominent.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like, what if you had just a little tiny like camera, even if it's analog, and like you just sell like bootleg VHSs at the back. You know what I mean? Like one of those old VCR
Yeah,
cameras.
it's probably possible. Yeah.
I wonder how
Something
much
you'd
those
see in a
guys
flea
make.
market for 99 cents.
Yeah, and what about those guys overseas who like bootleg that stuff? Like they've got to get it somewhere.
Well, that stuff's going on still today,
Well, yeah, of course.
like big time today.
This stuff, I mean, that stuff, honestly, even if it happened then, it happens way more now. Like, it's way more prominent now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have actually seen. I've heard rumors that you can already watch Mortal Kombat. It has been released in theaters somewhere. So that's
Somebody got it.
watch out for spoilers. It'll ruin it.
When does it drop? Do you know?
It drops. Technically, it drops Friday on HBO.
Oh, it's coming to
But I don't think it-
HBO.
I don't think it's coming to theaters in America until the following week.
April 16th, 2021 was the release date.
Okay, I'm wrong then. Yeah.
So it's out already?
Yeah, it's out in theaters, but it's coming HBO Max. You don't have to leave your house. You can stay safe.
Ah, the 23rd. April
don't
23rd.
have to wear a
So we
mask
got what,
while
a
you
day?
watch it.
Bro, I'm gonna watch that tomorrow. We're recording this early, by the way.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So that stuff is definitely happening. Yeah, I didn't realize it was in theaters there, either, because I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I hope it's better than the original. Like last time, I guess 2 times ago, we spoke about the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
I hope it's much better than the Mortal Kombat's original one.
Yeah, but this, like, I think we're gonna get a higher production value anyway. So like, the special effects and the CG are gonna be top notch, right?
I did see the trailer. The squibs, the blood, it's not there, man.
No?
The production value in their squibs and
But
blood.
was that
not
maybe
there.
cut Was that maybe cut from the trailer? Because that's probably all
You
CG
know what?
anyway,
It
right?
might
All
have
the
been.
blood splatter is all CG, I'm sure, or at
Yeah,
least most
and
of
it
the
might have been
CG.
dumbed down because it is on YouTube, right?
Mm,
They're not gonna show a dude get his arm hacked off on something a child can see without consent.
right, and like blood squirting everywhere, like over dramatic. Although they're probably not gonna go
Yeah.
grind fest with it either, like or grindhouse with
Well,
it.
you never
They're
know.
yeah, you don't, but they're also
They're a company and they want to make money.
yeah, exactly. So they want to sell to teenagers at least, even if they can't sell to like little children. They want to try to get into
Yeah.
that 16-year-old market, right? 15-year-olds and up. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think you
obviously,
can really show
fanboys are gonna
like.
watch it. We're gonna watch it.
Yeah. You think there's gonna be like a heart being pulled out of a chest cavity? You think there'll be fatalities?
I think there'll be callbacks. There'll be fatalities of some sort, right? There's got to be.
Maybe at least like Scorpion ripping off the mask and breathing fire or something.
Yeah, maybe they'll like
He is
show
very
his,
human,
show
though.
his face underneath, and how he's like
Yeah.
whatever.
The trailer I saw opens up with just two, a samurai and a ninja, I guess, right?
Okay.
Just everyday people, and then Sub-Zero brings ice into his hand and commits a murder with it.
Okay.
I'm sure he commits several murders, but
It's Mortal Kombat. It's Mortal Kombat. It's all in the name. Yeah. I'm excited to see that.
it's
So
you know,
we'll be talking
there's
about
no
it,
better
for
callback
sure.
to the 90s.
I'm sure we
right?
talked about it last week, actually. Yeah. Not really.
It's
like
spelled with a K. There's no better callback to the 90s, man.
no, not really. No.
If it put a Z on the end, it'd be perfect.
Do you think they'll have like maybe like toasty, or like any of those
They
kind of
better.
like get over here, like
They'll
those
definitely have
kind of
get over here.
callbacks?
Yeah, they'll definitely have get over here.
Okay.
I'm curious.
Did you see his like
what-
Raiden in it and stuff? Is it like
He has to,
a
be, right?
remake? Is it like a remake of the original? And like they're just trying to do a better telling of it? I haven't done
No,
any research.
I think it's an original script.
We're literally like we're gonna be talking about this week, right? And then we're gonna talk about it last week probably.
Right, yeah.
After we watch it here. We'll watch it tomorrow. Yeah, dude. We'll catch it tomorrow.
Well, enough about Mortal Kombat. That's not the point
Yeah,
of this.
that's another episode. We are here for the most wonderful series of all time, Star Wars.
So I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
And I feel this way personally, so I'm curious how it matters to you. Star Wars gave me a love for space and space exploration, and like what is really out there.
Yeah.
I know when you were younger, you went on the NASA trip. You were big into the space stuff.
Yeah, I went to Houston a lot. I went once every year. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that it had the same effect on you, or is it came natural?
No. It definitely had the same effect. Like I said, I had those special editions, right? And like
Yeah.
I would say it started there because like their exploration into the advancement of special effects and like how they were going to take those effects. Basically, they were going to do things that had only been kind of played with before and make them like one, mind-blowingly gorgeous, and then two, make them like mainstays in the industry. Like those effects are still being used to movies today because they look
Yep.
better than CG a lot of times. You know, like that's insane. Look at the intro to A New Hope. Like I wasn't there, right? Like we were born in '94. I wasn't there, but I still watching it on my TV had that same feeling of oh my god, what is like the opening scene when that Star Destroyer, like whatever I can't remember what that vessel is called that Leia's in. But the government vessel that they're in.
It's a
And then-
transport.
Yeah, and then the as the Star Destroyer comes in over, and it's just like it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And it just like comes out of frame like that. It's awesome. And
Yeah, I
the way
like
they
how
got
they
that
decided
made
on
me
scale with
insane.
that too, right?
yeah, it's all like
the Star Destroyer.
scale models. Yeah, it's all on scale. Well, for the most part, it's at some point scale. But shot with analog film, physical models, real explosions, You know, like when the Star Destroyer explodes, they actually just exploded a model of the the Death Star. Thank you. Uh, and and then like the things that they like had to puppeteer, right? Like even those things, right? Those looked insane. Like if you look at like the cantina
Right.
and like the cantina band, that's all puppeteering. Those things are like life-size puppets.
Yeah. So, speaking of the cantina, did you know one Greedo was a woman?
Yeah,
Uh, the actor playing Greedo is a woman.
I did
The
not know that.
actual gun in Greedo's hand was duct taped. You can see duct tape if you look closely.
I haven't
And
looked that
not
closely.
only
No,
that, the actual mask that they put on the woman, she had to breathe through a straw. The
I
prosthetics
believe
and stuff that
that.
they put
I've
on her
seen a
face
lot
was
of
that
that.
tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine
Imagine
acting like that? Oh my god.
imagine if it took fucking 20 takes. You know how
Yeah.
frustrated and hot you would be?
Yeah.
Like, forget my lines.
No, but like all those things, right? Like we were talking about it not that long ago. The Hoth stuff, like right? Like they went out to uh, Greenland and shot most of that stuff out there, and like freezing temperatures, you know, like really cold weather, windy weather. Like like that had to be the most miserable shoot on the planet. Like I'm sure there's been worse films since. Like The Hobbit was probably awful and stuff like that. But like, or the Lord of the Rings series. I don't mean The Hobbit. Um, but like they pushed that so far and got some. I mean, that again, that Hoth scene is like a masterpiece as far as like sci-fi goes. As a sci-fi film from the '70s, that's insane. I guess that was that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
I remember reading
yes.
somewhere about that Hoth. One time, it was a blizzard warning or something. They couldn't leave the hotel, but the blizzard was so bad that they actually filmed one of the scenes out the front door of the hotel. I believe it was when it was either Han or Luke
I think I've heard of that.
walking
Yeah.
through the blizzard. Yeah, they filmed it right outside the hotel.
Yeah.
I think it was Luke.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of them in there. They pushed filmmaking a lot in that series, and I hope
Yeah.
those actors got paid well. I wonder. I again don't know. I'm sure. Obviously, those actors loved that they were part of this franchise because like they still they still like love being part of it, and even when they're not
Yeah.
part of it, like they're still like promoting it and pushing it and like being part of the fandom and all that. So hopefully they didn't get too messed
Well, that's
up
the thing.
or screwed over, I guess.
I don't think they did get paid well because that was most of the actors' first film, except for Harrison Ford. He
Yeah, I would
was
say
in
Harrison Ford was in a bunch of
Lucas's first
stuff.
film.
Yeah, he was in a
Yeah,
bunch of like TV shows and
but
stuff
he
too,
always
right?
tried to find new actors, fresh faces,
Mark
I
Hamill
guess.
is. I mean, like, still, like, you can see it, I guess, in like Mark Hamill, right? If you watch Mark Hamill from A New Hope, 2, Episode 6, then you kind of see him grow as an actor, really. Carrie Fisher too, really, but like,
Yep.
she doesn't have too much of a drama role in the A New Hope. She does, I guess. I can't really say that. Her time with Darth Vader and stuff, but like, you know, Luke is like the main focus in that film, and you can really see that he grows in the next film, even, you know, with that, even with the opening, the opening Battle of Hoth, like to the end of that movie, like you can till when he has to face Darth Vader and go to Dagobah, and like just as an actor, like having to act with a puppet, right? Like that is not easy to do, and Yoda was a complete puppet, right? And
Yeah.
so, how are you supposed to feel that puppet's emotion? You know, you have to basically make that up. And so, like, he definitely had to grow in order to get there.
Yeah. It's kind of cool too. They actually got the puppeteer that did Kermit the Frog to do Yoda.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
He did get a lot of good talent. He really did. George Lucas, that is.
They had a lot of passion, right? Everyone to the special effects, to the costume designing, to the prop designing. Like everybody had a passion for what they were doing. ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, did an amazing job with those models. Like those are like some of them. I mean, again, the only film really before that to display that kind of technology was 2001: Space Odyssey, and they had a lot of that. But like, ILM pushed it to a whole nother level with Star Wars: A New Hope and Episode 5 and Episode 6, and then we get to Episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And me so not like Episode 1 so much.
I think the biggest throw off for me is seeing CGI Yoda in the first 3 canonically episode movies. Seeing him go from CGI to puppet. If you watch
it in order,
1, 2,
chronologically. I would say that is true. It only works because in the original, in episodes 4 through 6, or I guess 4 and 5, Yoda is old, right? He's getting older. I guess really episode 5, right? He's not episode 4. Episode 5.
I mean,
Yoda
he's always
is getting
super old,
older.
right?
Yes, but only when he's on his deathbed or whatever in that Dagobah scenes is he really driving, or is he really like, because I guess he isn't spry when he's training Luke, right? And then he's sick when Luke goes back to finish his training. So like he's not the Jedi Master he used to be, you know what I mean? And then because at the Attack of Clone Wars he has that fight in episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, he has that battle with the Emperor where he barely escapes.
Even 2, he has it with Count Dooku.
Yeah, but he barely escapes the one in episode 3, right? And that's when he goes to Dagobah.
Yeah.
Right. And so then he's spent what, I think like 15 or 18 years on Dagobah before Luke comes around? Something like that.
I think that's
Luke's like
time,
18. I think Luke's like 18 when he goes to Dagobah. 20, something like that.
Yeah.
And so, I guess he probably hasn't forgotten. Yeah, it is a good point. Like he is, for being a 900-year-old man, or whatever you want to call his species, Yoda, he did kind of lose his spryness a little fast there, didn't he?
Yeah. What do you think about, now that they have the episode 1, 2, and 3, how they went back into the original trilogy and they added in like the Force ghost of Anakin, and they updated Yoda as well.
Those are the ones I have. Oh, the Anakin, they changed. Yeah, they changed Anakin.
Yeah.
I have the special edition ones where they add something to the ghost. I don't remember what, and like they change a bunch of special effects stuff, and I thought that was awesome, right? But when they went back and did it again, they've done it 3 times, I believe, right? They went back and did it again, added Anakin.
Yeah. And
then when they added it to Disney Plus, George Lucas asked to make a bunch of changes before they released it to Disney Plus. Like Greedo doesn't shoot first. Han shoots first. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, have you seen the Disney Plus version? Han's head like snaps to the side real quick. It's like a really fast frame cut.
Yeah, I watched it when it first came out because everyone was talking about it.
Yeah, it looks so strange.
I
don't gets the point across. And then he also
it's not out of place.
He also added in Kerclunky, right? Made Greedo speak.
Right. Which, if you ask him, is things he always wanted to put in the original film too.
Yeah.
So, I can't say, like, to me, like, as a musician. Yeah. What about Jar Jar? He let Jar Jar Binks.
He also thought Jar Jar Binks was going to be a huge hit. Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks was a huge hit though.
So
with the children.
He was. Yeah, he was. The adults were.
He was comic release. See, okay, I think we also have to remember that episode 1 is a completely political episode. Like 100% politics. There's almost no action.
Yeah.
Minus Darth Maul. Right? Like most of it is meetings with the council and Jedi in the Jedi Council and the and then like the pod racing stuff, like there's action, but it's not besides Darth Maul, it's really not the action of like episode 2 when they go into the Clone Wars and they have like thousands of drones on the screen fighting these things at the same time, or especially episode 3 when they bring a lot of CG fighting into it with the different battles in there and Order 66 and that epic scene there. That's a pretty emotional movie, honestly, if you're a fan of Star Wars at least. It hits pretty hard. When Anakin slaughters
saving
the
child from slavery. Well, that's 3.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, so continue.
He brings Anakin out of slavery.
Yeah.
But, his mom has to stay, and he leaves C-3PO behind. That's emotional, right?
Yeah, that is tough.
And you're right. It's a lot of diplomacy.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, it's a lot of setup for the rest of the saga. Like, here is the Dark Lord in all of his glory. Like, this is where he was brought up. He was a slave who was asked by a Jedi Knight to leave his planet and forget his mother and everything he's ever done in order to train to become a Jedi. Even though they sensed a bit of disturbance in his dark side, right? And like he's too emotionally attached to things. Like he's too they notice, like he notices all this stuff, and everyone's telling him, "Hey, I don't think you should train this kid," but he's like, "No, this is the right." Like without that moment, the Death Star would have never happened, or would it have? I guess there's plenty of other Sith Lords.
I think like the setup from episode 1 after Darth Maul's death, which, death, right?
Should have died.
Yoda's quote, "Always two there are," is really telling of what's to come if you watch it in chronological order.
Yeah, I think that as much as we can talk down on George Lucas about his directing skills and his writing skills, I do think he did a good job with that.
Yeah, he's good at his craft. His script has some lines that are a bit, maybe you should have had somebody else proofread that, but you have to love it for what it is.
He's a good storyteller, and like you said, character development. He's great at creating characters. The characters that you want to get to know. Like, look at the entire saga, and everything has a backstory. There's not a thing in there that's just like, oh, throw it in. Like, yeah, that's cool. Like everything has an interesting story of how it got there before it was just thrown in the film. And that's really cool. Like, that's, I guess, tough to do.
As of May 4th, I think that Star Wars is in good hands under Dave Filoni. I think
he's the one doing the series,
a good step in the right direction. Yeah, he's the one. He did most of
Mando,
not all of most of Mandalorian, and he's doing all of the animated series.
Yeah.
So the Bad Batch coming out May 4th.
Yeah, that actually launches. Well, I guess this is launched on the 4th, so it launches today. So if you guys, this is launching at like 10 or noon or something. So like if you guys haven't caught that yet, it's launching. It launched this morning probably, and I don't know if they're gonna do the same thing they did with like Mando, where it's episode by episode by episode, or not. But it's basically a Clone Wars spin-off, I guess.
I think they will do it episodic.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for traffic to their stuff.
No, I mean we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. How we do really appreciate Disney's releasing it in a cable kind of way, where it's one episode a week, because like we actually are tuning in every single week to watch those episodes, even though they are doing that. So like we are still getting that excitement of, hey, did you catch this episode of WandaVision? The Mandalorian. Yeah, I can't wait for. I really cannot wait for Boba Fett. Like, I think it's called the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And
Yep, that is correct.
see, it launches the end of this year. It's the guy who plays Boba Fett. Shand? Phoenix Shand? And I'm not sure the whole storyline. I didn't do too much research. We just found an article or two. But like when he came into the Mandalorian and that what was it, like not the final episode but the episode before that or something, and then like I think I knew, right? I was like, oh, here comes the Boba Fett series, right? Like
Yeah.
there's some great lines in that series too, in Mando, especially like when Boba Fett's like they might recognize me if I go in there, you know, like maybe I shouldn't go.
How'd you like the tease of that guy on Tatooine before they revealed Boba and he was wearing the Boba armor, Boba style armor at least?
You know, I don't think I knew Boba Fett was coming, but I was super like, yes, fan appreciation, you know, like Boba Fett died on Tatooine, but his armor is Mandalorian, so it was saved because it's basically indestructible. And so he was able to get this, and he's been using it to protect it, right? To protect himself forever. Or this town. I think it's really cool the way they explain the Mandalorian lore and the Mandalorian, and how much it means to be a Mandalorian, and that it's not just something that the universe takes lightly, and that there are consequences for imitating Mandalorians, and that there's respect in that culture, and it's not about good versus evil. It's about doing the right thing, whatever that is for you. This is the way, you know, like.
Yeah. And the games did a great way of introducing that too, well before it came into film. It was in comics, obviously.
Right.
But like BioWare, they made the Knights of the Old Republic games.
Oh, it's such a great game.
And they introduced the Mandalorian there. That's where I got my introduction to him. I mean, obviously Boba Fett.
Boba Fett was the introduction, but we didn't really know he was a Mandalorian, right? Yeah, it's like the
or I guess
lore.
Django Wright too.
You know, and like that's, I think it's, I don't know that they call him a Mandalorian, but I know Boba Fett is in a lot of the video games from the 80s and the 90s. What is it? The Jedi Academy game. What's the series that's on? Just Jedi Outcast, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in the Jedi Outcast, in the earlier Jedi Outcast games, Boba Fett is in those games.
Yeah, he makes an appearance in Jedi Academy. I know for sure.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Plus the Bounty Hunter game itself, which is super fun.
You know, I never really placed that because
play as Boba in that one.
Yeah, yeah. I never thought about this. So did we find out, I guess, by playing that game that Boba Fett was still alive? Because that takes place.
You know, you're right, because Luke is also
is training the
Jedi
school. Yeah, that's like
Jedi
Luke's
Temple.
school.
Yeah, he's training.
So this is after episode 6.
So they got, Lucas. Yeah, dude, LucasArts kind of gave it away a long time ago. That Boba was still alive.
Just realized that. That was one of the games that I probably. That was the Star Wars game that I played first. I had it for PC. I think I got it for Christmas or something. I think I beat it twice or 3 times, both good and bad. The online play on that game is fun. Like, you were saying that they still play that, right? Like the battles, the lightsaber battles.
You can actually play it.
It came to Switch, didn't it?
You can actually play on the Nintendo Switch, but the problem with it is that it's cross-play with PC. So good luck, dude.
Plug your mouse into your Switch; it'll work.
Oh, there you go.
But, they should do that. But I digress.
Think about the last 15 years of hackers.
Yeah, I played that game when I was 13 or something. And like if I had continued playing it to now, that would be like 13 years. Yeah. Like half my life I would have played that game.
You'd hopefully be really, really good at it by now.
I would think I would be like way better than you when you played on Switch. You know.
It still does feel like clunky controls, though.
There's a lot of those Switch ports that didn't play as well as I wanted them to. Not just the Star Wars ones, but
I'm playing Republic Commando right now, and
I'm waiting until I get that limited run. I don't know.
It feels like an
Maybe
Xbox game.
Does it?
Yeah, it looks better, but it feels like an Xbox game.
So what was your first Star Wars game?
I actually think it was Lego Star Wars for the PS2.
Really? The first one you owned? Or is that the first one you played? Like,
Oh,
you didn't
no.
play
Nope.
Racer or anything?
Yeah, Episode 1 Racer for the N64.
Yeah, that was a lot of
Thank
people's
you
first.
for reminding me of that. Yeah.
I think it was probably my first, but not in a major way. I think like my cousin owned it on the 64, and I probably played it. Oh no! On the bus, one of
It
our
came bundled with the consoles too.
Yeah. I think they released. There was a Star Wars game for the Game Boy Advance. I don't remember it, but one of my friends who I used to ride the bus with had it on his Game Boy, and he would let me play it. It was for the Game Boy Advance, yeah, and it was before the SP, I believe. Before that had come out. That was probably my first Star Wars game, actually, that I played. But Racer was, I think, my cousins owned it, and I really enjoyed that one. I mean, come on, who doesn't enjoy pod racing? Right?
Yeah, it is a great game. I have it for Switch 2 now. It does play really good still.
Oh, it's on Switch? I actually didn't know that one.
Yeah, it is. Plays amazing, looks amazing. It's a great version.
Right.
Previously, before it came to Switch, my favorite version of it was on Dreamcast. I just recently played it on
that Dreamcast behind you right there?
Yeah, it plays a lot better than Yep, this one right here. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of games that I've noticed are a lot better on the Dreamcast than Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
It makes me sad that I got one and never heard of the other when I was younger, because I suppose you could have got these at a garage sale for $30 back then. Early 2000.
You could
maybe
get
2008, 2010ish.
You could get lucky and find it now for that. But most people who own a Dreamcast are gonna know that what they have is worth something. I have a friend who just
if you have it bundled with everything.
Off topic, way off topic for the fourth, but this is a retro gaming podcast. I have a really close friend whose father passed away recently, and he was going through his stuff, and in his dad's old stuff, he found a sealed copy. In fact, 5 sealed copies of Pokemon Snap.
Wow.
He sold one, right, so far? He's going to get the other ones graded. Do you want to know what that one sold for on eBay?
Mint. Basically mint. Bucks.
Keep climbing.
Is that a good guess?
That was not even close. Not even close, bro. Wow. $1,200.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got 4 more.
I was going to say I'd love to buy one, but I don't think so. Don't think I want one.
At that price? Yeah. Yeah, I talked to him about it. I was like, hey, and then he told me how much, and I was like, I don't think you can be a player at that kind of price. Because I'm not going to be. That's collector. Like, you'd have to sell half your collection, bro. And it's sealed. Apparently it's in good condition, too.
Well.
But back to Star Wars. Like, yeah, it's insane fun, right? Especially when they need the help and stuff. Yeah. So, talking about the games here, and we started pretty middle of the ground when it comes to Star Wars video games. So, like, you were 64 and GameCube, right? And then my first one was on the PC.
Yeah, the Rogue Squadron games on.
Yeah. And so, do you have a lot of experiences playing games before that? Like any the X-Wing games, like
playing
X-Wing
the
Alliance,
Star Wars games.
Like the 90s and 80s DOS games and stuff.
Right. I know of them. I have actually never physically played them myself.
Okay.
They look fun.
Yeah, they are
I'd
fun.
probably
A
buy a
couple,
remaster.
you should check them out because like the storylines in them are like top notch storylines for Star Wars. Really, a lot of them. I can't say all of them, but most of them have really good original storylines that play off of the episodes, like the original trilogy, episodes 4 through 6,
Okay.
and
I think all the Star Wars games always have amazing story too.
most of them, right?
You
I
know.
will like okay,
Yeah.
so let's go into something. Let's go into future, something that is a little more relevant for us and when we were kids. Um, hey, we're back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. Technical difficulties, right? Um, once a week, we'll get those fixed sometime. Maybe 1 week we won't have a disconnection issue. Again, thanks Spectrum. Um,
I'm not
anyway,
gonna
we
hold
were.
my breath.
I'll do some research and see what I can figure out. See if I can call him or something. So we were talking about the DOS games, and how you never really played them, but they were great storylines. But that most Star Wars games have great storylines, honestly. Um,
Hmm.
and I was thinking, like, what about though, like the games that I thought that the Force Unleashed games and the Force Unleashed 2 especially was really good. Uh, with on those modern games, but I don't think that the story. I think the story in the first game is like top notch, but then I think that the second game, right? Like I feel like the story starts to get worse. Like it doesn't captivate you the way that like even Battlefield or Battlefront 1 and 2, right? Like even the way that those games
Yeah.
captured you. And those games had like some ridiculous story, right? Um,
Yeah, but those are epic battles too. Like, even if you didn't have a story, the gameplay of the Battlefront games on PS2 and I guess the original Xbox, amazing.
yeah,
PSP as well. I think PSP even got its own spin-off of Battlefront. It's like called Rebel Squadron or something.
I've heard of that. Is it?
Squadron something.
I think Rebel Squadron is
Rogues?
a Disney
No,
show.
I think it's Rebel something. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I know that there was like 4 or 5 Star Wars games for the PSP, maybe 3, but like,
Have you noticed that there's never a Battlefront 3? They always ended after 2, even in the remakes EA did. It's a curse, dude.
do you don't think it's gonna come back? I guess they went to uh, Rogue Squadron, right?
I'll give them another 10 years, right? Yeah.
Re-release Battlefield 1, Battlefront. Why do I
Yeah,
do that all
they
the
gotta make
time?
Battlefront 1.
Battlefield. I
Well,
always
it's
do that.
EA and DICE, right? It's the same guys that make both of them now.
Yeah,
Yeah, EA and DICE.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Except, this time there's microtransactions out the wazoo.
So a question, quick then. We've played probably 3 generations of Star Wars games. Um, is your favorite
Roughly,
time
yeah.
period? Is your favorite time period of Star Wars games the like N64 kind of era, or what about like the Knights of the Old Republic era versus like the uh, Battlefield era? Then we've got
Yeah.
the Force Unleashed, and now we've got like Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen
Oh,
Order is one of the
man.
greatest games of all time, right? Like
Yeah.
how do you like if you were gonna play one Star Wars game right now in any of those eras, which era you could pick any game in those eras while you're playing? Which era would you have to live in?
You want me to pick one from each era?
No, I'm saying like what if you could only play games from like 2005 to 2009,
Oh,
right? And you had to
sure.
play like Knights of the Old Republic and Battlefront or and stuff like that, like. Or if you could only live in the 2000s to 2020 and you had to play Force Unleashed and you had to play Jedi Fallen Order, or even I don't know any other ones. Oh, there's that Wii game, the lightsaber battle game on the Wii.
Yeah.
Uh, or you could go back to the N64, the 90s and stuff like that, and play the DOS games or the 64 games like Racer and stuff like that.
So here's my dilemma. There are great games on VR. But that being said, yeah, PS2, GameCube, Xbox, anything pre 2010, post 2000, for sure would be my era that I would choose. That 10-year gap. But again, ask me in 5 years. There could be, now that EA lost exclusivity rights, there could be some really good games coming out in the next 5. My answer could change. But as of right now, yeah, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, that era.
Okay.
So many great games.
I mean, yeah. Okay, well, since we're there anyway, what's your game of the week then? What is your Star Wars game of the week, bro? LucasArts games game of the week.
That's a no-brainer for me, man. It's the Old Republic. The first one. The second one's good, but it is not as good as
Yep, it's
the
right
first
here.
one.
I got my copy too. Don't worry.
Yep, there it is. Excellent game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about a story. BioWare, man. And then they went on to make Mass Effect. This is kind of in a way, this is their way of testing to see if Mass Effect was going to be viable, because they made their own IP out of the same gameplay. Yeah, amazing game.
So do you don't like the second one as much?
I wish that I like it, just not as much as this. And I wish that Disney would do something and go back and write stories about the Old Republic.
Yeah. You know, they totally could, right? Like they've got this. What if they even gave it to BioWare, right? Like, hey, remake this game. Like you still make good games. Here, make this game.
Absolutely.
I know that would mean a lot of like contracting and partnering and stuff, but like Disney's like the biggest corporate giant we have now, especially in the entertainment, in the video or movie market, but like in the video game market, they've got a pretty strong leg now, especially with having the entire Star Wars franchise and LucasArts under them, Lucas Games, like that's a lot of video games. That's not just Star Wars. So they could definitely work on those partnerships easily and get that. I mean, they already have, right? Like, what is that? There was like a Wii U game, Disney Infinity of Star Wars or whatever.
Oh yeah, the Amiibo style.
Amiibo
NFC
style
chip.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a bunch of that kind of stuff, right? Mine's not actually far from that. Same era of games. I'm gonna have to go with Battlefront, but I'm putting mine on the PSP, not just because I own a copy, but because what better game to take on the go, right? Like,
yeah,
like you're gonna take a game on the go that you want to be able to just pick up and play on the subway or bus or sitting in subway parking lot waiting for your sandwich. Like, play some Battlefront. I mean, this is 2. I would say I'd probably pick Battlefront 1 over this. I do love 2, but for the PSP, I'd probably put 1 on that. But I would play this game like.
Great game.
We played this through once, I think, when we were children. We played this together once. I think we played both all the way through. And
back then, man,
it was great.
When you played as a hero or a villain, a Jedi or a Sith Lord, you actually felt like a Jedi or a Sith Lord. I don't get the same feeling when I play the new ones.
But I think it's because they had to balance it so much, right? Like, since they did so much online multiplayer, they had to like balance these characters so that a Dark Trooper or a Stormtrooper or something could actually compete a little bit. At least like 4 or 5 of them could compete against Kyle Katarn, even though they shouldn't be able to. Like,
those servers are still up too, by the way.
Yeah.
For that copy that you have in your the servers are still up.
Technically, these will shut down. The
PSP servers are going to go down on July 1st.
But wouldn't that mean that these guys? Oh, that's like the PSP store servers.
Yeah, like, the store is going down. Battlefront 2
you'll still be able to access
on PC. Yeah, you can still play it online.
Word. I knew I could play it on PC. I've got almost every Star Wars game on PC. In case I want to pick one up.
So,
yeah.
as a fan of music, uh, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you love John Williams, and why is it 10?
It's 10.5, thank you. Uh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
and it's
Extra
because of
credit.
Home Alone. It's because of Home Alone. Has nothing to do with Star Wars. And Star Wars is
Okay,
really
yeah.
good. No, Star Wars is like that. Okay, there's several ones. There's several things. One, the title credits.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, what better way to just like capture your audience? I don't know, man. He just like struck a note
It's a
into everyone's
symphony.
head and then there's the Imperial March.
Yeah.
Like, what an iconic noise for like the most villain of villains that you're supposed to have such a hatred for. This evil tyrant, this Hitler-esque type, like, villain. I mean, like Star Wars. Like, if we look, like Star Wars, a lot of it is based off of Nazi
It is.
propaganda and stuff, like
Stormtroopers and yeah.
stormtroopers and like he's supposed to be like this evil of evil. I mean, I guess Palpatine is supposed to be evil, but you know, like he's the chosen one. He's supposed to save the world, and he turns so I'm gonna say it's him personally, but I
Oh
lost my
my
point.
god. Oh, I thought you lost connection again. That's my
No,
bad.
no, I lost my point. I definitely lost my point there. Uh,
Yeah. I'm
it's
pretty
just
sure
like
didn't he do the Jurassic Park films too?
John Williams did.
Did he or did he not?
He's done a lot of amazing films that like you just don't even realize that he's that he's really done that many iconic films.
You know, I'm not sure if he did or not. I know him and Spielberg. Well, Spielberg and Lucas were like best friends back then too, in the '80s and late '70s.
Yeah. Well, I know that he did really iconic ones like E.T. and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, he did Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's him. Um,
Which they're bringing back too.
again, I didn't like Crystal Skull.
Again.
I don't
Yeah.
like Crystal Skull.
They're
I,
bringing it
I
back
love Shia
again.
LaBeouf, but like he's probably one of my favorite actors. But like as a character, as a human being, he's really interesting. But yeah, you know, I think John Williams did Superman too. I think that was the other one he did. Was the Superman theme.
It would not surprise me.
Uh, yeah, so you know, like he's just done these amazing,
Yeah.
iconic films, and these amazing titles. I do love other people's versions of these songs, but like, there's nothing that's gonna beat the original title track. You know, like, and the Cantina song is still like one of the most. Like, does that not make you feel like you're in a space bar?
Yeah, that is a great little tune.
Yeah, like, um, catchy, right? Like get stuck in your head, kind of catchy. But still
Yeah, I mean, you hear that.
unique.
If you hear that, that's Star Wars. Like, forget the main theme, forget the Imperial March. If you hear the Cantina from a distance, you know that you're in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
There's
Most of that
never
music,
been
right?
any sound in cinema like it. Yeah.
And I think people have tried to imitate it. You know, like one of my favorite scores is the Dark Knight series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that's got a great score, right? And I think they try to do something similar in that, and like that's why that really hits home in those series. Is like those tracks make you feel like you're in Gotham, make you feel like you're experiencing the Joker, torture or whatever, like you know, take advantage of you. And so like they were able to create this moment, and George Lucas and John Williams does that in these films in such a great way, all the way through every single episode. Like, not just is episode 4 good or episode 5 or 6, every single track that he wrote and composed for those films is perfect for those scenes.
You know, you bring up Batman when DC. There's a lot of similarities between Batman and Darth Vader. You know, um, they both lost their parents. Well, parent. They both can't turn their neck without turning their body 180. That's actually funny. If you go back and you look at the footage from behind the scenes of Episode 4, I'm going to stay Star Wars, uh, the actor that they got to be in the suit, they originally were going to go with his voice. And, oh man, I'm so glad they didn't. Like, James Earl Jones is perfect for that. But I don't know if have you ever heard it? They got some British actor that was like 7'2".
I think I've heard something on YouTube. Yeah, I think I've heard a little bit on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, I can try my best, but he's like, tell me where the rebel codes are, kind of thing, and it's just so wrong. I mean, maybe if we would have heard it as that back then,
right?
It would have been iconic,
but there's something
right?
about that.
Yeah, the rebreather for sure.
Luke, I am your father. Like that James Earl Jones voice. Like it's just ridiculous, man. And I'm never going to get close to it. Yeah. Like your natural voice isn't far off from it. Not that low, but like it's...
He has imitators too.
No, what's that? The Force Unleashed, actually, dude. The Force Unleashed, that actor
has a different voice actor.
Like, he
yeah,
like nails that. There's another series too that like the voice actors just like nail his voice. I don't get how you even do that, but it's an art to its own, right? Like not only imitating James Earl Jones, you're imitating him doing Darth Vader. So you're trying to play, You're both trying to play Darth Vader and imitate an actor, like, which is pretty tough to do.
They say it's like the best form of flattery, right? Imitation.
Yeah, I say so. I think,
and for James Earl Jones is Darth Vader. That's Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's Darth Vader to me.
Forget the man in the suit. James Earl Jones is Darth Vader.
I really like how they did that in the first episode, where like James didn't want to take full credit, so they did half credits. It was like half James and half I can't remember his name. And forgive me, please. I'm sorry.
Something British.
Yeah.
And it's not Obi-Wan either. Obi-Wan. Yeah. Use the Force, Luke.
Right.
Man, the new 7, 8, 9, dude, the way that they try to change Force powers, man, let's talk about it.
Okay. Actually,
back then, great. Obi-Wan's talking to Luke while he's in his X-Wing. But, like, Kylo Ren and Rey are seeing each other through the Force in visions. What?
Okay, but like Luke hears Yoda and he hears Obi-Wan and he hears Darth Vader.
He can also see them.
Is there any games that like...
Force Ghost.
Yeah, he can see them as ghosts, right? Like, but that's after they pass and they're like Force essence. Yeah. But like, okay, so like the Force interconnects us all. So, I mean, like, is it very far off for them to be able to do that?
Yeah, but I believe in one scene, I think it was 8, if I'm not mistaken, she actually pulls something through that Force portal, we'll call it. She pulls an object through their vision.
I don't remember that.
I don't think they understood. 1, they didn't understand how lightsabers worked. 2, they don't understand how the Force powers work.
Kylo Ren lightsaber does not make any sense to me.
My God, his lightsaber makes no sense. And I mean, bro, get a plumber. Let's get a plumber on here to ask him how that works. You got energy coming out in 2 sides here, but yet the farthest one has the most. Okay, not even about that. He nicks Finn, John Bodega. He nicks him with the lightsaber, and it's just a little scratch, Ben Solo cut a dude's arm off in Episode 4 by barely touching him. That old man barely moved and cut that dude's arm off.
But Yeah. I haven't seen. I don't like. I know what you're talking about, but like, I haven't really paid attention to.
They don't understand them.
I haven't really paid attention to the
They
last
don't
three.
understand them,
You
man.
know, but
Yeah.
do you like the last three at all? Like, is there any things about them that you do enjoy?
Um, I mean, they're they're reconstructions of the original trilogy, right? You have the
The
hero
first two, at least.
overcoming
Yeah.
adversity, learning their powers through a master, a master that's has made themselves a hermit.
Okay.
You know, um, I don't. Have you seen what Lucas had envisioned for his sequel trilogy?
No. I when he sold it to Disney, I was kind of like over that. I just kind of stopped paying attention to the
Yeah,
updates and stuff.
I won't touch on it much, but I do know that Leia was going to be the chosen one.
Yeah.
She was going to be the one to bring balance back to the Force as a politician. She's like the New Republic. That was going to be the balance to the Force. Uh, yeah, and they were going to bring Darth Maul back too. I don't know how they were going to work that out because he
So
died in Clone Wars.
wasn't there a big problem with the fact that somebody recorded episode 7 or directed, sorry, somebody directed episode 7, and then they got
Yeah.
a different director for episode 8, and he
Yep. That's
completely
exactly what
turned
they did.
over, yeah, like he completely threw out basically everything that the first film was working up for. So like because I have watched those two episodes, and I didn't mind
Mhm.
the episode 7, but I just kind of hated that there was another Death Star.
Yeah.
Like
No,
Empire had
you're wrong.
learned
It's
from
called the Star Killer.
anything.
It's
Shut up!
called the
Oh my
Star
god,
Killer.
Star Killer harnesses the power of a
Oh,
star.
Star
Oh my
Killer.
god,
Oh.
yeah, exactly, perfect. Yeah.
I'm
um.
surprised it didn't have the ears on top, man.
Okay, so like the Death Star. Oh, that'd be great. I'm gonna Photoshop that. The Death Star is
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
the Death Star in the original trilogy, both of them, is already pretty
Mm.
unrealistic, right? To harness enough power through plasma or whatever to blow up an entire planet.
Well, it's a giant kyber crystal in the Death Star.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
but now we're harnessing the power of the sun. Uh, yeah.
Superman. I don't know.
I don't
Kryptonite.
know. Can destroy 4 planets at once. Like that's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Like
its
you
own
said,
thing though,
between
right? Like,
7 and 8.
yeah, seven
Like you
and
said,
eight.
between 7 and 8, two different directors.
Yeah,
Yeah, and because of that, the character development got all screwed. You know, they were trying to build Finn as a leader, and they were trying to build Poe as a good rebel, and then in 8, we're so many numbers now. I think it's actually technically 12 films,
if
but
you count Rogue One,
in
yeah,
yeah, um, Finn is a coward and he's trying to escape, and Poe Dameron,
yeah,
he's going against authority. You know, and then you cut to 9, and it's just back to normal because the original director took back over, and he had to try to clean up the mess that
yeah, and that's why 9
the
sucks.
bitch did. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
it. She didn't
I
know
mean,
what
go
she was
ahead.
doing.
But you know that is
She didn't
why
know what she was
that
doing.
sucked. They like that it did totally ruin it. And you know we're not like I obviously heard this before, so like, but like I haven't caught episode 9 because of that because I've heard the things about it and I'm just like I guess I'm like over it because it doesn't matter, right? I know I've heard the story. It's been spoiled for me 5 times over, and like I don't care about spoilers personally, so that's totally fine. But like, um, I liked where they were taking the first one, although again, like I have my issues with it. Don't get me wrong. I thought 8 was trash. I completely ruined it, and then I was done. But I caught Rogue One. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen Rogue One. It's a great
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, I mean it's an
Yeah.
original Star Wars story, right? And it captivated me in such a way. Like, what an original telling of story. I will say that it does ruin some previous video games. It does ruin a couple of the video games by creating this cast of characters that then goes and steals the Death Star plans. But they at the same time, I love the way that they created the story. They gave you these brand new characters that are like awesome Star Wars characters, like
Yeah.
total to the T definition of like good versus evil. With a common goal that brings them together, with where the good side has to make tough decisions in order to survive, and like they have to make bad moves in order to stay alive, basically. With Cassio and stuff, and then they join together and all that to fight this epic fight when they go to steal these plans, and then they murder them all. Spoiler alert. They murder them all, like that. Oh, I think I fell in love with that movie at that moment when they were willing to build this entire cast of characters and make you fall in love with them. And then they had to explain why these people didn't exist in episode 4, 5, and 6. And they're like, well, it's easy. Getting the plans out of this, getting the plans to Leia, they weren't able to escape. And if you read episode 4 credits, a team of rebels went to gather the plans and they sent them to Leia. So like it's in those credits, in the original credits, and they just tell this epic story. But to me, that movie is like the 3 new movies in the saga don't even hold a grain of salt to that. In fact, that might even be one of my new favorite Star Wars films of all time. Honestly, you have to be a fan of 1, 2, and 3, episode 1, 2, and 3, or sorry, episode 4, 5, and 6, in order to really appreciate that. I think too, in the way that I am. But it is just an all-around good movie too. I do know a lot of people who were like, "You killed all my favorite characters, though." So
they had to, though, like you said.
Yeah, they did.
So, have you seen like the Solo story? That's like film 11,
I have
right?
Not.
Then
I have not.
What is 12? I know there's 12. There's the Solo, and then there's Rogue One, and then there's one more that I just can't think of at the top of my head.
I know there's more coming too.
But anyways, yeah. Oh, there's a lot of stuff coming out. We'll have to go over that later too.
Yeah, we'll go over that in a little bit. I know, but there's other like special character movies that are coming out as well, not just like TV shows and stuff.
Yeah. So, okay, back to the Force powers being ridiculous. You've seen. Yes. Damn, was that 8? Because you haven't seen 8. Did you see when Rey heals Kylo Ren after stabbing him in the stomach?
Yeah, I haven't seen 9.
You haven't seen 9. Okay. So you
that
said
doesn't sound familiar.
We're cool with going into spoiler territory.
I don't mind, and just I mean, these are new enough films that maybe we should just say, skip to this timestamp,
or skip to the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a timestamp. I'll put a link, or I'll split it up so that you can jump ahead if you need to. I'll put a link in our timestamp here.
Okay. So we'll give them 5 seconds. Get the hell out of here. You're not welcome anymore.
Hey,
okay.
I told you to go.
So
why are you still here? Thank you. Continue.
Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Luke and Anakin no longer technically get credit in the fans' eyes for killing Palpatine together. They don't have their father-son moment. Anakin doesn't get his redemption because Palpatine is still alive. He's on life support, but he's still alive. Okay? That creepy bastard's living in a cave. Now, he gets defeated, hopefully once and for all. Right? Great character. I love his character, but hopefully he's dead forever. And Kylo dies after redeeming himself. Kylo saves Rey and dies.
And he's the only Skywalker left, so
she can't heal him this time. But she did heal him before. She's a magician. She's a wizard. But she can't heal him this time.
You're a wizard, Rey.
Okay. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the part that I love. Okay. The end shot. She goes back to her planet, her sand planet.
Yes.
I think, is it Tatooine or it's something? I don't remember.
Don't think
I
so.
don't care that much about Rey, but she pulls off the most atrocious identity theft that I have seen ever, and she goes by Rey Skywalker now.
That movie's called The Rise of the Skywalker, right?
Yep.
So she's not. I thought
she can shoot lightning out of her hands.
So she's not related to Skywalkers like in any way.
No.
Okay.
I mean, her ancestors have been side by side for a long time, but
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that Kylo Ren died. I mean, I guess I probably heard that. I just didn't really remember that.
He redeems himself. Oh, redeems himself. I did like the scene where he and Rey murder Snoke. I hated the scene he killed Han. But I do like the scene where they kill Snoke. I hate the fighting scene because there's a lot of mistakes in the choreograph and like the lightsabers face the wrong way. I digress on that stuff. But I like when he kills him and then, I can't remember the name of the officer that comes in, but he goes, "What are we going to do now? The Supreme Leader's dead." And he ignites that ugly ass lightsaber and goes, "No, the Supreme Leader's right here," essentially. That's not an exact direct quote, but he's like, "What do you mean? We have a Supreme Leader." Puts a force choke on him and calls him a little bit.
Yeah. Does the whole Sith Lord thing.
Yeah, as you do. I do like his freakouts, though. I love Kylo Ren's freakouts.
Dude, he's a great actor. He is an amazing actor. I don't think he was the right... I say that, right? But like, obviously people love him in that position. But he, as an actor, is one of the most skilled actors in Hollywood right now, probably. Like, he is really good.
I love that scene where Rey escapes the interrogation chair. And he loses it and just fucks up the room. And those two stormtroopers are walking down the hallway and they hear this and they both look at each other and turn around and run off the other way.
I ain't going near that.
Because they know they're dead if they go in there. They die. They're expendable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're troopers, right? They're all just...
They're slaves, right?
They're numbers, bro.
They're not clones anymore. They're slaves. They steal them as children.
Yeah. Isn't that so messed up? I always get in arguments with people about that. Like, that stormtroopers aren't clones anymore. But it's like, no, like, those guys that got old and they died. Like, they didn't all die. There are still clones out there. But you're talking like dark troopers now. You're talking like the elite forces are going to be your clones now. Like, I'm sure there's stormtroopers that are clones, just like whatever. But like, most of your stormtroopers aren't clones anymore.
No.
They aren't Jango Fett.
Right. No, I watched Star Wars Rebels recently, the animated.
I have not caught Disney show. Yeah, I have not caught it.
Yeah, and they bring some of the clones back, the ones that had the chip removed, which the Bad Batch will hopefully go back into that too on May 4th.
Yeah, I think they go into that at the end of the last season of Clone Wars, and that's where this new thing is coming from.
Yeah, some of them are dead, but they are old. They've all aged, and they're slow now. They're not the tools of war that they once were.
Right. I mean, as every human does. Like, they are just clones of humans. Like, well, Mandalorians, but like, they've got good genetics, I guess. Like, that's about what they got going for them, right? Good genetics, great training, eventually you're still going to lose that. Eventually Yoda dies, right? Like that, it still happens. You can be the best of the best and still not make it to the end. Yoda. It's going to forever hurt. I miss that little green guy. So what do you think of Grogu?
I like Grogu. I think he's neat.
Yeah?
I think he's overpowered, but you have to be, right?
But like, Yoda is like, okay, so in episode 2 and 3, Yoda is like overpowered to max.
Yeah, he uses the sixth fighting stance, right? The insane, either you die or you run away in fear. Same as Palpatine, really.
Yeah, really. Palpatine more comes from a place of...
His is anger, hatred. Yeah. Yoda's is from the Force.
Survival. It's like, Force, peace, and like surviving. Well, but not him surviving, but survival of the planet and the good in the planet, in the Force. I
I do remember. So Grogu is technically the third of the species that we've seen.
Yes.
There is a female version in episode 1 sitting in the
Is
council.
Grogu her child?
Is it both of their child?
I don't. That's my question. Really, in the end,
Yeah, who knows, right?
like, is it? It's
We gotta
either.
find
It's
out.
gotta either be her child. Okay, there's three options. It's her child. It's their child, or there's a whole another part that we were never shown in any video games or any books. I'm sure there's books out there that talk about it, but I don't know any. And
I don't think so. I think it's been a mystery for purpose.
I'm pretty sure Yoda was the only one that we know by name. We've never known his species.
Yeah.
So what about that journey of the Mandalorian, right? In Grogu, like, what do you think of the growth in that character development, right? Like the Mandalorian, you start with the Mandalorian, then he meets Grogu, is just gonna get rid of this, and then he's gotta keep up with him, and like they build this relationship to the point where Grogu, where he has to basically tell Luke, to, or not Luke, but Ahsoka, right? He's got to tell her.
Yeah, Ahsoka Tano. Yeah.
Ahsoka, you got to tell her, like, he's got to bribe her basically, to train him, because she's like, no, he's too emotionally attached to you. Like, you basically ruined this Jedi kid, all the way to the end of the series. Like, what do you think about that growth in character development and relationship development in the Star Wars franchise?
I mean, historically, Mandalorians make great fathers, right? Look at Jango and Boba.
Yeah, I guess Boba. Boba really did break when Jango died, right, and become this ultimate revenge. I guess. Machine.
Yeah, he actually used Jango's original helmet to try to kill Mace Windu, he's the one that killed Jango. Spoiler alert. But the Mandalorian, his journey is less about character development and more about helping the child. Like, it's his duty in his way. This is the way.
This is the way.
You don't
even though this is our enemy.
Yeah, you don't.
This is the way.
Yeah, because the Force users are the enemy of the Mandalorian. The Jedi are the enemy.
Yeah.
That's what the Beskar armor is, so lightsabers cannot pierce their armor.
Yeah, it's why those scenes.
I always like that too.
Continue.
I was gonna say that's what I like a lot about the lore is when the Empire started taking over Mandalore.
Yeah.
And they brought the Mandalorians onto their side. They didn't have the armor, so they were prone to being killed. The clone troopers that were Mandalorians, they were just slaughtered in droves because they didn't get to wear their traditional armor.
Yeah. Was it against the Mandalorian way for Jango to do that? To create these clones of himself?
Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah, right?
It's his face. He cloned his face, right? Like
Fair.
the real Mandalorian. There's two different
He's
Mandalorian
no longer
faith, right?
Yeah, right. There's like the original like cult faith of like, this is the way. And then there's like come on, we're still just Mandalorians. Like I guess that would be, if you wanted to compare that to now,
Super
it'd
soldiers.
be like, yeah, it would be basically like extremist in a religion versus just somebody else who's just practicing the religion and doesn't actually really follow that so closely, right? It's like basically that.
Yeah. You got someone that's doing the events of the religion every time it comes up without failure. Yeah.
Or the one who's still going to the bar every Sunday.
That's about as far as I want to go on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mandalorian series is like a great Star Wars series, really, right? Like okay, what about like his acting? What about even his acting, right? Like, how do you display emotion under a helmet?
Yeah.
Like, how did he do
even
that
the
to
subtle,
us?
like he just looks. He just looks, and you're like, it conveys it so well too. You just know what he's thinking. I find that cool too with the Mandalorian series. One of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr. He's been outspoken about how he does not like Star Wars. He didn't like Star Wars, right? He just didn't get it. He didn't get the fandom. And then he got the opportunity to be in Star Wars, and now it's 180. Like he gets it.
I think that's what I was saying earlier, right? Like how about everyone who has been even in the vintage series of Star Wars is still to this day, even if they don't currently have a role in the universe, still promoting it and pushing it and like loving that they were at one time part of it. All the way down to like Adam Savage, right? Like who's doing the Industrial Light and Magic stuff. Like, and people who we don't even know their names of, I'm sure, are all the same way.
Yeah.
But then even to the day,
one of my more useless facts. Do you know who was originally slated to be Anakin? Not child Anakin, adult preteen, and then adult Anakin.
Yeah, 2 and 3.
Do you know who it was?
I don't. I know who it is, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
They actually wanted Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's right. I remember hearing that.
And he turned it down because he didn't want to get involved in such a and you know what? Maybe fair point to him, because look at the way they treat some of these people, like Rey, Finn. They get destroyed in social media. You know, how large the fandom is now. It can be toxic. I mean, that's toxic with anything, but
I mean, I guess those films did really like. Okay, so like 3 came out and people were like, "Oh, Star Wars is ruined. It's over. Like life no more. We're never gonna be able to watch Star Wars again." And then 2 came out and it was like, "Oh, well, it's a Star Wars movie, right?" And then 3 came out and people were like, "Oh yeah, Star Wars is back and here's a complete saga." And now like if you watch it all the way through, it makes sense. And like, so a lot of people were dogging on like the episode 1, 2, and 3. Like they were just dogging on it. And so maybe he was right, you know, like maybe you are right about that, because he look at the movies he did, right? He is obviously one of the biggest actors even to this day. He hasn't done, I don't really know anything recently he's done, but like I'm sure he's still doing stuff in Hollywood.
You know, one thing that's crazy is what Disney's doing now with Marvel is they're taking shots of these characters, a lot of them, so they can CGI later when they get older.
Leia.
And Leia, yeah. Speaking of Leia, you've seen 8, right? I think it was 8, not 7. Does she die in 8? I think she dies in 8. Yeah, you already know what I'm going to discuss: the flight and spit in the vacuum of space.
I want to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah. Another force power. They don't understand the force, man. They don't understand it. You think that they would like maybe consult Lucas? I'm sure he's like, "Hey man, call anytime. I will gladly help.
These are still my babies.
Things because you are ruining." Yeah, dude. Yeah. You know he still has a stake in it, right? He has to have some merchandising. He's not going to give it up completely. Maybe he did. I don't know. I haven't looked that much into the actual IP.
Yeah, how much he owns still versus he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the force projection too on the salt planet. Luke is standing there taking blaster fire, and you know the blaster fire blows away, and he's just standing there like a god. You know,
it's Force Unleashed style.
And then Kylo walks up and
right, like that, like ridiculous over the top Force user, right? Like that's what the Force Unleashed is. It's like 100%.
But was Luke ever that though? Luke wasn't.
No.
Luke was he was just an everyday dude and he's a savior.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's right. Like,
and he really did not end the Empire. Anakin did. He was gonna die. Palpatine was gonna kill Luke.
Yeah, Anakin was the chosen one. Still, at the end of the day.
Yeah. And they took it away from him again, like I said earlier.
Yeah. Like, it's awful. Why? I mean, like I really hate that part of the story. I do, but I think it's ridiculous.
Oh, but about Disney getting all the CGI people. I just watched a film a couple days ago. It's more frequent, more recent, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Of Samuel L. Jackson. He looks the same. Like really, you put a little makeup on Samuel L. Jackson, and he looks like Mace Windu still. And we're how many years out of that? 15, 16 years away from. The man has not aged. He's like 72 or 73 years old.
Yeah.
Or 80 even, maybe. I think he's 70.
He's in his late 70s, I think. Like 76 or something.
Good old Mace Windu.
But, like, that's becoming more and more popular. I don't think The Mandalorian did that great job at it with Luke Skywalker. But, like,
no.
When it comes to, like, the movies and... but they're a TV show, right? Like they got a budget and they got a time schedule, and like their special effects are over the top for a TV show.
But they have Disney money, dude. It is Disney.
Well, I know, but like, but they're doing a production at another scale right now that like makes the outcome just so much easier for them to get to. With that show, and with the movies, it's like. Leia, right? Like, and what's the Admiral? What's his face?
Akbar.
No.
You talking about Akbar?
No, the guy from the Imperial officer. The older guy.
Which one?
Oh, that's Rogue One. I'm thinking Rogue One. Tarkin. Yeah, I'm thinking Rogue One.
Talking about Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Moff Gideon from Mandalorian?
No. I think I'm thinking Rogue One. Rogue One. Okay. When he.
Yeah, that's Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, that CG is like, it's only a tiny bit Uncanny Valley, right? Like it's like the slightest amount.
It's not bad.
It's almost perfect, and like we are. There are a ton of movies where like that's happening where we don't even notice, like we didn't even realize, hey, that entire person was CG. I've been watching a lot of car chase scenes where like you don't even realize that like 2/3 of those cars aren't even real. They're like CG, and like they do the stunt with more room on the highway. They do it real with more room on the highway, and then they CG cars in later to make it look even more dangerous than it was, even though it was dangerous.
Like
still.
traffic.
Yeah, like they'll like make them like say Deadpool, right? Like they'll do like a bunch of stunts for Deadpool, but then to make it look even more intense, they'll put like he just missed a car. He went just over the top of that car, right? Even though in reality that car wasn't even there.
Okay.
And like so like we're starting to do that with people's faces even, and like that's insane.
Yeah, I just wish they would have took a little bit more time to get that render.
When we're talking this much money, yeah.
It vaguely looked like Luke.
The Mandalorian. Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen it. Corridor Digital.
I have. Yeah, I already know where you're going. Yep.
Yeah.
I have, and they did a great job with just that random employee at their.
Yeah, Dean. Yeah, it looks just as good to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't look better to me.
It looks better.
Really?
I think it looks better.
I think it looks more. I don't think he looks like Luke. I think it looks like Dean. I think I know what Dean looks like. Like I watched those movies. I watched Corridor Crew enough. It looks like him to me. It doesn't look like Luke. I think maybe if I had watched it without knowing what he looked like, I might have been able to just see that. But I can't. So I think to me, but the Mandalorian version, I could tell it was Luke, but I thought it was an actor. I didn't realize it was CG.
Do you think they could CG DH Hamill? If he'd shave and cut his hair and stuff and put a wig on, do you think they could DH him?
Yeah.
I know they did a really good job with Tony Stark, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these movies like this, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of them, like even Samuel L. Jackson, they make him like a 20-year-old version of himself. And then like
it's probably his contract.
No. I'm saying like, I'm pretty sure there's a movie. I don't know if it's him, but like there's like, they make it like, it's like a story where they're telling like different time periods of this guy's life. And like they de-age the actor to look like he's 20. And like it looks, if you like, they pulled it from reference movies from that actor's time period so that they can make it look exactly like him, right? Or her. I don't remember at this point. And then when you went to the regular time, it's like it looks like it's the same person because it is them 40 years older, and the de-aging process looks like almost unnoticeable. And I think that's happening in Star Wars in a way. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's a. Speaking of Mace Windu,
okay.
going back a little bit, what do you think about him just walking up to George Lucas and, asking what kind of lightsaber colors there were? And he's like, well, what about purple? And Lucas is basically, you know what? For you, we'll make a purple lightsaber. I want to ask you about that, and I also want to ask you, do you think he's dead? Do you think he's dead from getting launched out that window? Because I personally don't. I think he's going to make a comeback eventually.
Okay, for the first question. Yep. Okay. The first question, I would say I respect the question, and because it is George Lucas's series, I say why not? Right? Like
they wrote the lore too.
Yeah, and like obviously we like remember back, we're like, oh, I remember as a child, I wanted the purple lightsaber. Like,
yeah,
that was the one I wanted. And so like it may be good on Samuel L. Jackson for like bringing that into the series, because like he obviously gave his character such a unique role by giving him that lightsaber. It wasn't just another Jedi. And then as a second question here, you're absolutely right, man. There's no way he died, right? Like, did he ever even get hit by lightning? I don't think he ever got hit by lightning. He got pushed out of the window, and they're in Cloud City.
He got pushed out by the lightning.
But there were so many people.
There's flying cars,
and he's a Jedi Master. He's not a Jedi Knight. He's a Jedi Master in that series, or at that point in his time.
Yeah. In that same film, Yoda fell out of that tunnel and landed in a car and lived.
Again, Yoda. But in that same movie,
Yoda.
The beginning of that movie, Anakin gets out of his spaceship and jumps to another spaceship. Like he's doing that.
I think that's 2.
Is that 2? That might be 2.
I think that's episode 2. But you're right. You're absolutely right. He does do that.
Right. So
he just leaps out. Yeah.
Leaps out and he tackles that guy, right? Like they're chasing that girl when he's after the assassin tries to kill the
it goes
queen.
in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did lose his hand. Mace Windu did lose his hand. Anakin chopped that hand off.
Yeah. So does he show up in episode 12?
It'd be cool, man, if he had a mecha arm like Anakin.
Or maybe one of the animated series he shows up.
It'd be cool. I hope they do something with it. There's no way he's dead.
I mean, we do have Bad Batch coming out, and that is a continuation of like that time period. So
yeah,
maybe.
I was just gonna say we didn't see his death or his body, and no mention of it whatsoever after that.
No, it was like, hey, he's gone. His character is no more important to our series, so bye. Like, we aren't going to tell you. We aren't going to give you closure.
Just went hiding with the rest of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like,
speaking of episode 3.
Okay.
Order 66, Jedi Academy.
Oh yeah.
Why is it the best scene of the film? Oh, I mean,
You mean him slaughtering all these children? No.
Allegedly.
We
didn't see it. It was off camera.
Yeah. I wasn't there. I didn't witness it. I did it. So execute Order 66, and then just everybody turns. How many Jedi survive versus how many die? Like, right? Like there are so many Jedi in hiding, according to like the video games and the other lore. And I guess now it's canon in the movies because Luke starts the school, right? He starts that school that Kylo Ren got trained at.
Right.
And so technically that's, I guess like there are obviously Force survivors in some way, even if they're not Jedi survivors. Maybe these guys went into, hiding, like you said. And Fallen Order is canon, right? Like that would be canon in the saga.
I believe it is, yeah.
Right? So then that would be, like, because he is, and what's her name in that series? The lady that's with you. She survived Order 66, and she went into seclusion, promising to never be a Jedi again. Like just saying, I can't do this anymore. Like I watched she watched her master turn, right? Like her
apprentice
or something. Her apprentice turn.
Yeah.
And so like she obviously survived Order 66 by, getting the seclusion, although she can still use her powers technically. Like she still could if she wanted to.
Mm. Yep.
She just has sworn an oath not to. And like that's what Cal, wrong series. Cal
from Fallen
he was the one who survived Order 66, right? And then he went into seclusion and never continued his training, although he still knows some of his force powers, and that's how they find him in the beginning of the game. I think that's the first thing that happens, right? Is he's working and then they got to like take him off the line or whatever.
Yeah, he used his power to save an employee.
Yeah, that's right.
Coworker, yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously there are Jedi out there who survived, kids at least, if not like Jedi Knights and apprentices and stuff. At least kids survived.
Do you remember the child at the end of 8? You said you've seen 8.
Yeah.
There's a kid that can move the broom with his mind.
I think so. I think I might have. Yeah.
They never touch on it ever again, just so you know.
Well,
Not once did they ever mention it.
That's probably got to do with the whole director thing, right? Where like 7 is a different movie from 8, but 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. That whole thing.
But the tie-in for me to Fallen Order is the Fallen Order story is you're trying to find all these Force-sensitive children. Like that's the main thing is you're trying to find this cube to find all these children.
Yeah.
Whether or not you find it, that's for another time. I'm not going to spoil anything. Whatever.
Yeah, the game's new enough, and this is a gaming channel. That's a game that we will talk about later in this series for sure. Down the podcasting.
Yeah. But I don't know if they're trying to tie it into that or it would make sense if that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have the hindsight or the planning to do that. If it is, it's probably coincidence.
It's probably coincidence because do we even know what time period exactly Fallen Order takes place?
Okay, small spoiler.
That's fine.
Vader is alive.
Okay.
So that puts a time on it a little bit.
A little bit.
Vader's pretty powerful too.
It's before episode 3. At least.
After 3. Before 6. Right?
Sorry. I always do that. Before episode 6.
Yeah.
I always do it because it's the third film to me. But episode 6.
Yeah.
Before that.
And Dathomir's wiped out, which isn't a spoiler. You can go there like first planet. So I think that's even before 5. I think it's got to be around episode 4.
Yeah.
Or 5. One of the two.
Okay.
The Empire is still intact because they want to find the children before the Jedi do. Before the Jedi do.
Yeah, that's why they're searching all these places that you go to and why the Empire is there first.
I think all the Jedi are dead.
Yeah. Trying to find all their secrets.
For the Empire taking over the Republic, they did a really job of going after all the records.
Yeah.
Like they had all the records in that library.
Yeah, and instead of downloading all that information and keeping it, it was destroyed, right?
Yeah. They must have destroyed it.
Hey, sir, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you ready to name that game?
Let's give it a shot.
All right. I sent you a link in Discord. Pull it up.
Okay.
All right, and I'll put that up on the screen when we start down the timer here. It's called for you.
Yeah, see that?
Up.
Okay.
Yeah. Get that ready to go.
Yep. I see it over here.
And for those of you who don't know what this is, we're going to do a weekly segment here where we talk, where one of us finds a game for the other person. We either take gameplay footage, screenshots, a short, brief description of the game, and it's what it's about and all that. And we try to see if we can get Smoke here to guess this game. And so I say we give it a go. Let's get the music going.
Okay.
All right. And why don't you go ahead and hit play?
Okay. I'm just going to say right now, I don't think I played this game.
Okay.
For podcast listeners, I'm seeing what maybe is 8-bit, 16-bit. It reminds me of Doom.
All right. Yeah. I can tell you it was released in 1995.
Yeah, we got a first... Okay. Got a first-person shooter. I saw Darth Vader on the command deck of a Star Destroyer. Well, see, he's actually unarmed here. I don't know if you're a trooper or you're a Jedi.
This starts. This starts before the first episode. And then after the first mission, the storyline jumps to a year later. If that helps.
Okay.
I can tell you. You also know
so
the
one
main...
guess deal or?
No. Go ahead. What do you got?
Nope. Okay. Is this Dark Forces?
This is Dark Forces. Ding, 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 ding.
This is Dark Forces. Okay.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, this is a great game. Yeah, very Doom-esque, right?
Dude, it's a Doom clone, I swear. It was made on its own image, on its own engine. It was made on it's actually the first game made on the Jedi engine that was developed for Star Wars games.
Sure.
It is following Kyle Katarn still. Actually, I believe it's the first Kyle Katarn game. And so this is, like, for anyone who doesn't know, that is like the Jedi Outcast games. If you played Jedi... Wait, that was wrong. Right? The Force... Oh my gosh. What is it? Why can't I think of it right now? I could just...
You thinking of the series that has Kyle Katarn?
Kyle Katarn, yeah.
You got Dark Forces, Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight.
And...
Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast.
Yeah. So it's part of that series. Anybody who is interested in going and playing through these games, there's like 7 games in this series, and they don't even, like, title-wise, they don't seem like they should go together, but if the storyline is in order. I believe there's a prequel in there. I believe Jedi Academy is a prequel to the games, but to one of the games.
You know, why don't they have Doom on the Switch? Why don't they bring this over? I mean, this looks like it would work just fine.
It's fun. It runs on MS-DOS. It is an MS-DOS game, so you would have to have some kind of DOS emulation, or somebody would have to make a port. But its storyline, you start before the first episode, and you're like you gotta like so you go and you get the death. That's what I was saying before, where like Rogue One kind of destroys some of the video games. This is the game. Kyle Katarn goes and gets the plans to destroy the Death Star.
Okay.
Right, in episode 4.
Yeah.
He gives him the 4, and then it cuts to the second mission a year later. So like the Death Star has been destroyed, and then like the game continues on from there. No spoilers for anyone who wants to go play it. After seeing the game footage and everything, and yeah, like it's a Doom style game from LucasArts for Star Wars. It's a pretty simple shooter too. Like it's pretty effective. Hard puzzles, pretty challenging puzzles too. So it's a good game if anyone wants to check it out.
Absolutely, looks fun.
Definitely recommended. I recommend the whole series if you're a fan of Star Wars, because the storylines are like fantastic through those whole games.
What a great thing to mash together too.
Yeah.
Doom and Star Wars.
No, it is definitely a Doom clone. Like when I pop that open and I play it, it makes me feel like I'm playing Doom. At least the first like few episodes. Eventually, it starts feeling like its own game, but it's basically a Doom clone. So congratulations. I don't know the tally for last week yet, so I'll put the tally right up here. Here. Here.
I think you're gonna have to put multiple now.
I'm gonna put it over here.
Okay, that seems like a good spot for it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like a fun game.
Yeah. If you have never played it, as somebody who's a fan, like that kind of stuff, like at least play it. Like don't play all the way through if it like you don't want to, but like at least play the game and like it's worth it. Yeah. So that wraps that up. Congratulations, sir. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. So then let's get back to some other topics here. Like, we've got a lot of series from Disney coming. Like, a lot. Like,
Yeah, that we do.
a lot. And that's not just including the Bad Batch that is launching today. But what else you got in there?
Uh, I'm I'm excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi and Rogue Squadron mostly.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, and especially in the early times of it. But that should be good too. I mean, all of these are gonna be good. They're gonna be great.
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic too should be interesting.
Okay.
But I think my picks definitely. I'm gonna tune into Obi-Wan Kenobi and Rogue Squadron the
Okay.
very second they're uploaded.
Yeah, probably. I do have to say, as somebody who was saying that he's a pretty big fan of Rogue One, that this Andor series that's coming, I think his character,
Oh yeah,
I think his character was very deep in that movie, and so that there's a lot of room for them to really explain his upcoming, and how he got to where he was in Rogue One. That guy that relentless rebel, like he's still on the good side, but he's willing to do dark things in order to get good outcomes. And I'm excited for that one.
yeah. That's nice. They're gonna build on those characters now too.
Yeah, I think
A lot
this
of
is a
people
good
love
way to
those
go.
characters.
Yeah.
I like the font too that they chose for that for Andor.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
you
that's
have
cool. Yeah. It's like got the Rebel logo
I
on
am
there and
excited for the
everything.
Bad Batch too.
I'm excited, but
I'm
I'm gonna
excited to
go
see what
back and
happens.
rewatch the last season of before it comes out. I'm gonna go and rewatch the last. It comes out today for you guys, so you guys are too late to do this. But anyone listening and watching, but I'm gonna go watch the last season of the Clone Wars, which is where the Bad Batch comes from. They introduced these guys in Clone Wars, and kind of give you an explanation of where they're coming from, and then this is like a basis off of that. I could just break off of that and explaining these guys' story far more.
I think you might want to watch Rebels too.
Yeah, you were telling me that too. That I think I need to check. And
Yeah.
our tech coordinator, he told me to check it out too when I was in high school. I mean, not high school. When I worked at the school, when I went back and worked at school before I moved here, he was telling me to
Yeah. I think that
check it out.
probably will tie in too.
Yeah. Okay. And we don't have a launch date on a lot of this stuff. We know that like Obi-Wan Kenobi's coming in 2022. So is Andor. I do know that the Mandalorian is probably not coming back till 2022. In fact, I don't think it's going in production I don't think it went back into production until this year. Because Boba Fett is launching in December, and I had originally thought that Mandalorian was going to drop in December too, but I think it's going to drop next year now.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
let's
Boba
see,
too.
we've got to be determined on the Acolyte, which is I guess that's all people really know about it is the name of it. It looks like.
Oh, it's going to take place during the Age of the High Republic.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Acolyte. Okay.
Ahsoka doesn't have a release date, but we know that it's going to be amazing. Neither does Rangers of the New Republic, but I'm sure that'll be 2022, early 2023 kind of thing. And then there's a bunch of other Star Wars movies like the Lando.
Yeah, with Donald
Star Wars
Glover.
Visions. There's a new short coming. Yeah, is that going to be Donald Glover?
Yeah, he's young Lando.
Yeah. Do you think he did a good job? I didn't see it, so do you think he did a good job?
Yeah, I mean, for a young Lando Calrissian, that's who I expect to.
Yeah.
Him as a character in that he's got the charm and the slight cockiness. He can back it up like with his flight skills and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I haven't seen Solo either. The Solo story.
Yeah.
I need to check it out, but people have kind of warned me against it, and I need to get over that and just go check it out. But
treat it as its own independent thing, right?
Yeah. But I think if you have a strong enough connection to Han Solo. Is this gonna make you happy as a fan?
Yeah. There's also a droid story. Sorry, a droid story coming, which I'm afraid. Little cap here says another animated project. A droid story will introduce a new mechanical hero alongside established favorites C-3PO and R2-D2. So they're
Yeah,
gonna
it
add a
says
third wheel
like
that they can bring forward.
yeah, it's like guided by R2D2 and C3PO, but it's not. I don't know that it's just them. I'm sure like
Do you think that's BB-8 or do you think that's a fresh character?
it's an animated film or
Yeah, it's
series
gonna
or
be animated.
something. Animated
Yeah,
series. I don't know because I guess R2D2 and C3PO aren't going anywhere, right? They still exist in Episode 9, right?
right.
So I guess BB-8.
Yeah,
Could they bring in like K9 from Rogue One and stuff, even though he passed and stuff? Like, could they? Technically, he
I
was
suppose you
blown
could
up too.
install his intelligence, right? If they had it somewhere.
Or I guess yeah, he has a personality,
Well, he
right?
was
Like
he was
he's
decommissioned Sith.
yeah, he
He
was
was
a
decommissioned Empire droid. So no, they're
so
not
like
gonna be able
not
to
his
do that.
personality. Yeah, no, he's yeah, not that.
Yeah.
There is one of my. I would say that's one of my favorite droid. Um, I guess luckily that one had more of an actor, kind of like C3PO, and it was a great way to be more comedic about it. And I really liked the way he played that role. I don't remember who played him, but I know it was a like awesome way to shoot it. Like I've seen the special effects of it behind the scenes, and it's really cool.
For anime fans, there's also Star Wars Visions. It's gonna
Yeah,
be actual like Japanese style anime.
hand drawn and everything, I believe. Um,
Yeah, I do believe so. That comes 2021, so we'll get it sometime this year. I'm gonna
yeah,
go ahead and
probably
assume
later.
that's probably Q4. A lot of these are probably Q4.
Yeah, is that a Korean company? Or is that
Which one's Star Wars Visions? That
yeah?
is
Is that gonna be
Japanese.
Japanese?
Yep.
Okay. I just know a
Yeah.
lot of that
Just
animated
true to
stuff
the art
is
form.
coming from Korea right now. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. Well, let's see.
A
What
lot of
about
cool shows coming.
what are any games? Is there any like games coming up that like really have you excited Star Wars wise?
We don't really know what it is yet. There's one. Let me
Okay.
get the title before I butcher it.
Right. Right. I mean, I haven't
What
even
is
checked out.
it?
I haven't
I
even
know.
checked out Squadrons yet. I need to do that. So
Yeah, I played a little Squadrons earlier today. I really like it.
you were
I'm
saying
kind of
that.
upset with myself that I haven't played it before today.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get my like HOTAS because I don't know. Maybe I'm just an elitist or something. I've been avoiding Microsoft Flight Simulator for the same reason, but maybe I should just grab a controller and plug it in and just go for it.
So there is a new game coming to the Nintendo Switch along with mobile phones.
Oh god.
That has me worried.
But
It
you
is
do like
called Star
Gears.
Wars Hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is called Star Wars Hunters, and Star Wars Hunters will connect players in real time to battle in settings inspired by iconic Star Wars locales. Players will join squads of all new and authentic characters, including daring bounty hunters, heroes of the rebellion, and Imperial stormtroopers, in an action game that immerses players in its fast-paced and visually stunning Star Wars galaxy. Pretty vague. And
Does it
I
have any?
hear microtransactions.
Yeah. When I hear mobile, that's
I
all
hear
I hear.
skins. I hear like Fortnite or Apex Legends style.
Well, what about on the
You know,
Nintendo Switch though? Is there a lot of
maybe
that on the
maybe it's an
Switch?
Overwatch kind of game. They have, yeah. I think Fortnite's on there. I think Apex is coming this year. That might just be Fortnite. Might be the king on that one. But I think this is gonna be like maybe an Overwatch style game.
Okay. Yeah. Like.
I mean, cool, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I probably
But
won't play it
again,
if it is, but not because
yeah,
I don't think it'll be good or anything. Just not really my style of game.
exactly. And EA losing exclusivity to develop games under that umbrella. that it's going to open it up to a lot more. And I think somebody has mentioned they want to do a new Knights of the Old Republic, new KOTOR. Which, yeah, by all means, just don't ruin it. It'll sell. You don't need microtransactions. Make it a single-player experience. No DLC. Make your game and we'll buy it. We want it complete on launch day.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Well, yeah, definitely don't give me a broken game. And yeah, I'll buy it on launch day if it's even got the word Star Wars on it and it's not weird. If it's like a story driven game,
Yeah.
I'll probably pick it up.
Give us a demo.
Oh man, a good Star Wars demo. The last good Star Wars demo I played was that VR demo. That was pretty fun.
I like those Immortal Vader on a VR. I don't know if you've seen or tried them. Those are really good.
I just remember like the lightsaber thing.
It's
but I was like,
it's Vader's headquarters in Mustafar, his big tower.
Was that being developed into a full game?
Games. Not those. Those came in chapters, but there is now a open world Star Wars game that was announced at the Game Awards, which is now in VR. If you have a Rift or Quest, you can play it.
Okay.
Woohoo! Go Facebook.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I would get Oculus. I would recommend Oculus still, just because of the price point. But I would recommend if you have the money. Yeah. I'd recommend if you have the money, go with the Vive. But like if you don't, it's not worth it.
I don't play it enough to justify it, honestly.
I think I would, but I miss the VR also, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just being like rose tinted glasses, right? Like I haven't played one for 3 years probably.
Yeah.
And the only thing I was really doing was like racing in it and stuff like that. I wasn't really experiencing like VR games.
I played Skyrim for a while. I did like the Star Wars ones. There was one that you had to defend a droid while it like fixed your ship and stuff. And you were just a regular rebel killing stormtroopers. That was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I think that's where the VR shines as shooters.
I agree. Physics engines too. Physics engines are really fun to play in. Mm-hmm. Minecraft would be fun if it wasn't motion sickening.
Yeah, it's pretty rough on me.
Speaking of Minecraft, actually, there's like a Star Wars mod coming to Minecraft.
I think it already has come.
Has it?
There's a lot of those Star Wars licensings. That's the thing about Star Wars, man. Yeah, it has went everywhere. They have, like I said, on our first week, they got the Stormtrooper in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Minecraft, you can have a official.
Yeah, it's official licensed pack. I think it's on Bedrock stuff, but I'm sure it's on Bedrock. I don't think it's on Java, right? But
you look back at anywhere from 1978 to now. Look at the merchandise that Star Wars has accumulated. Oh
yeah,
they're everywhere.
Some of that stuff is
Monopoly game, board games.
And I'm guilty.
Everything you can find.
I'm guilty. I've got a shelf up here full of Star Wars collectibles. Like I'm guilty.
Yeah.
TIE fighters and cool stuff. But
I think I still have a couple of my lightsabers too.
Yeah. I never had one.
Press the button and flick them out.
Yeah. My nieces and nephews have some. They still make them. I wonder if stuff will, because they still make them, I wonder if that stuff will ever like go up in value the way like a lot of the things from people's childhood do, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like
maybe certain ones, right? Technology gets better and you have more primitive ones.
Yeah, I guess, right? Like
nobody's gonna
first pressing kind of stuff, right? Like you can get Pokemon cards, right? Like a first pressing is going to be worth like 3 times the amount that a normal edition or whatever a second, third pressing is going to be.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I saw GameStop. They did a thing. Now you can get like a Boba Fett helmet for, I think it's like $150. You can get Stormtrooper Rebel from Rogue Squadron. They have some deals right now with them too. You get the Mando helmet.
Yeah, Star Wars merchandising. While it's insane, I kind of like can't say that I don't give into it. Like I enjoy buying the stuff. I'm usually not gonna spend retail for it, right? Like,
Yeah.
but like I recently just bought some stuff from Goodwill, for a good price, like a in a sealed copy of episode 5, uh, in box. I think it's a special edition, but I don't. It might just. It's not the box set, so I don't know. Maybe it's just 5, the original. Uh, and then like a episode 1 kind of action figure too, right? And like really cheap. You know, like I still buy this stuff, so I can't say that I am upset that they do this either. But they do like kind of overdo it a lot. I mean, every single franchise that you can think of has a Disney toy or has a Star Wars
Yeah.
toy. Sorry, it is
Star
basically
Wars.
Disney, but yeah, Star Wars. Um, Funko Pops to vinyl figures to video games to Legos to Barbies to Hot Wheels. You know, like there's not Monopoly, like you said earlier. Like there's not a franchise you're gonna find that Star Wars before Disney even.
It's not welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, even when it was LucasArts, like just LucasArts, like the same
It's
thing.
it's still LucasArts.
But it's under the subsidiary of Disney, right? Or subsidiary under
It's
whatever it
owned
is.
by Disney now. Yeah.
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 It's got the
Exactly.
corporate giant standing over it, staring down.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't want you to abuse your customers, you know, and all that. But obviously we want the stuff at the same time.
Yeah, we're a consumeristic culture.
Exactly. Yeah. And we love pop culture. We're for some reasons being a nerd is cool now. So
What is your favorite Jedi and your favorite Sith?
take the easy way out, Anakin. No, I'm just kidding. Because he's both. Get it?
Both. Yeah. There you go.
No. Growing up, so I'm gonna have to say it's the same. My favorite Sith. Is it? It's a hard question, man. Come on. How did you do this to me?
I still
it's either-
count.
Yeah.
I still count Legends too. I don't, not just the cinematic film. I count Legends too. They're video games. They're canon video games. In Legends, they're not canon now in Disney, but in Legends, they're still canon.
I want Qui-Gon Jinn to be my favorite, I think. Not because he's like... I don't know what it is about him. I think it's the way his pose or something. Like... Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He holds himself up pretty well.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it, right? Like, again, that's probably a lot of Liam Neeson being a good actor and like trying to portray a
Yeah.
monk-ish style Jedi who's very calm and reserved even under stress. Like, what's the scene, the battle scene in that series when they're fighting and they go through that, they're going through the hallway and the gates come down, right? And
Duel of Fates. Absolutely.
Yeah. What a great song too.
Yeah.
But they run through, right, and then they get to the point where they have to take the break, and you can see what's his face pacing on the one side, the Sith. Well, I can't think of his name right now.
Darth Maul.
He's Darth Maul. Thank you. And I was gonna say Darth Maul is my favorite Sith, but because as a kid he was my favorite Sith, Darth Maul. He's pacing, like showing his angst, right? But then Qui-Gon Jinn just puts his leg crossed on the ground, and he hangs out and he just meditates while Anakin, Obi-Wan at that time is a couple more downs back, like, what do I do? I can't, like, and it really, I think that's a great scene for one. That's just a wonderful scene. And I think it is a lot of great character insight. It's not even really development at that point, right? Like, it's like, you're just kind of like, you've kind of come to this resolve. Like, you've watched these characters through this entire episode, and like, here is like the payoff of like seeing who these characters are. I don't really care for the end of that fight scene, right? I feel like they could have done better. But I think that is one of the greatest fight scenes in Star Wars. That is probably the greatest fight scene in Star Wars.
Yeah, it definitely has the tearjerker kind of thing to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good story. It's a good story in a fight scene, right? Unlike Episode 3, where I have the higher ground. It's a great fight scene. Yeah, totally. There's just so much good pacing in that one, and then like, it still is sad to see Qui-Gon die, and satisfying to see Obi-Wan kill Darth Maul. Well, kill Darth Maul.
But in a way, doesn't that like make Maul like look it makes Qui-Gon look super weak as Maul killed him and then immediately got killed by his apprentice. Got killed by Qui-Gon's apprentice.
But could it be like the balance of the Force and all that kind of shit too, though?
It makes both of them look weak.
I see your point. I don't know if I agree. Yeah, I don't know if I agree, right? But like, because like Qui-Gon Jinn isn't fighting from a place from angle, and like, doesn't Obi-Wan have to pull off like a crazy stunt to kill him too? If I remember right, he's got like
his lightsaber goes down the well.
Yeah, and he's got like
and then he does like the Force jump up, grabs Qui-Gon's lightsaber.
Where have I seen something similar? Maybe in Episode 8, or is it Episode 7 when he kills the Pope or whatever? He pulls the lightsaber, remember, through him.
Oh yeah, Snoke. Yeah, they do that.
Snow,
9 too.
Thank you, Snow.
There's a giant hole in the middle, and Kylo gets thrown into it, and then comes up and saves the day.
Of course. See, like, that's my problem with the new ones. They're like a bunch of reused Star Wars.
It's so cliche now, right?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, like, it's not only that, like, we've seen, not only are we watching Star Wars redo itself, we've seen so many other series copy Star Wars that it is kind of like cliche.
Yeah.
I mean, most of those series are good too, right? Like those like Stargates and that kind of stuff. Like they're really good still. They're different. They're not Star Wars, but they're just a lot of imitation in there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, man.
My favorite Jedi, and because he's the only reason I like the prequels, is Obi-Wan, because he's just such a smart ass. Always has something funny. My favorite is like Episode 2 when Anakin and Padme show up and they go, "Oh, we're here to rescue you," and he just looks at them and looks at the ground and goes, "Good job." You know, he's just snarky, right?
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
And
like, I love those moments.
Yeah, my favorite Sith is Anakin pre-Darth Vader. I like him when he's going through the change and
Episode 3.
The bright orange, reddish eyes, and he's just chopping everybody up.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
When he goes to that desert or whatever, before he really has a breakdown.
In Episode 2 when he goes to... Yeah.
I love that moment.
Foreshadowing for sure.
Yeah, that's a huge foreshadow. And I really loved that moment of him being like questioning his choices, questioning where he's at. I killed them all.
The women and the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have a problem killing kids, man. He had no problem killing children.
But like, okay, maybe I wonder if like, yeah, they were just allegedly. Like, okay, he's Darth Vader. He's allegedly killing children. Or were they just like, we need to make him feel like such a bad guy, so you hate him at the end, and he is Darth Vader. Like he's, become to such a point where he becomes this Sith Lord.
Lord Vader.
You are now known as
Go
Lord
and fulfill your destiny.
Choose the dark
Palpatine's
side.
Great too, man.
Yeah, dude. Great. That's another like great Episode 1 through Episode 6 character story arc.
Yeah,
right? Like going from the
absolutely. That's
counselor,
some
the chancellor to
long-term
the
storytelling.
yeah. That's where like episode one being a political and bureaucratic episode really pays off because you can see that hey, this is kind of how this stuff happens, right? Like this is how war happens here. This guy got in here, he got a lot of influence, pushed his way in,
Yeah.
and then like corrupted the minds of the people around him until
You know, the way that he says a certain planet, it reminds me of Trump saying China.
yeah,
You know, when he's like, when I was just a young boy on Naboo, China,
yeah,
Naboo.
yeah, I guess.
He was the Sith Lord all along. He was the Emperor all along.
It was always Trump. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like,
In another country, yeah, dude, dictator, sure. And that's what
I
the
mean, there's
Emperor
a
is.
lot
He's
of
a
hate
dictator.
in there. Yeah, he's told. I mean, he's supposed to be playing like this, right? This like manipulative, hateful person. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh man.
do they ever really in the Star Wars episodes play at the point that like, uh, the Empire, right, doesn't realize what they're doing is wrong. They think they're the good guys, and they think what they're doing is right. They think that they're creating
That's
peace in the
brainwashed,
galaxy.
right?
Well, but like even Palpatine is like, I'm creating peace in the galaxy by
Through
controlling
fear.
these, like through fear.
Yeah.
But I am creating peace in the galaxy, and that is my end goal is to create peace, right? So like, yeah, he's doing it the wrong way, and he's
Look how he used Dooku, dude. He used him to like be the bad guy and run the droid army.
yeah, so
And
that
then,
he could be the face.
And then immediately, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are up on the command, was it
Kill
the
him.
Maleficent or something? I think that was the name of the ship. Kill him.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it, please. I want to watch.
He takes both those lightsabers and cross. That was cool. That was a cool. I gotta say.
There is a lot like again like that's why I think episode 3 kind of that's episode 2 I think right but like episode 3
that was the beginning of 3.
Beginning of 3 okay episode 3 really is a better Star Wars film than episode 1 and 2 as far as the original trilogy goes if you're going to compare them to those 4 5 and 6.
Well, he gets revenge for Dooku chopping his arm off too.
Yeah,
comes full circle for him. He loses his head, but
so
you know,
and like I guess that's really like kind of foreshadowing in that movie of like, hey, they kind of just give you the movie right there, right? Like, like he could have said no, but he didn't. Like he had him on his knees, and this is not the Jedi way. Like this is not the way that Jedi would act.
Palpatine has been grooming him for how long though?
Yeah,
slowly,
how long?
Slowly grooming
literally
him.
Grooming him. How long?
Yeah.
How do you think it would have played out if the Jedi Council had accepted Anakin as a council member instead of saying he's not ready?
To think of that, I have to think about what if Qui-Gon didn't die? What if Anakin finally had the father figure that he needed? Because he would have grown up and they wouldn't have thought that of him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
He was a friend. He's a brother.
Yeah, not a father.
Yeah. Anakin didn't have that father figure, and Qui-Gon would have, given that to him. Maybe he would have been a completely different person by the time he wanted to be a Jedi Knight. Not even a master, but a knight. I guess he was a knight. He was a knight in 3. He wanted to become a master.
I think he's an apprentice in 2 and
and
knight in 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
And wants to become a member of the council in 3. Like he's like, I'm ready, and they're all like, no, you're not a master. You're not calm.
Yeah, no, you're not.
And obviously they were right.
Obi-Wan was right. Or not Obi-Wan, Mace Windu was right.
Mace Windu was right, yeah.
Mace Windu knew all along.
Yoda had a lot of suspicion too. And stuff. They get him a lot.
Evil.
He felt disturbance,
Remember when he was slaughtering the sand people? Yoda felt that.
Yoda felt that
across the galaxy.
Yeah, Yoda's got some kind of secret touch there. He feels things pretty deep.
Yeah, he's super powerful.
Maybe that's why Yoda is so weak in the episodes like 5 and 6 because the Force is dying, right? Like there's not as many Force users in the world, so his connection with the Force is not as strong as it used to be.
Sure. Could be losing a little hope there too, right?
Oh yeah, right. Totally.
I
Things to
just
think about.
I really like the idea that Lucas had for his sequel, and I wish he wouldn't have sold to Disney. I wish he would have made it.
Yeah.
Like making Leia the true chosen one. Luke would go and train new Jedi's, but Leia would take over as the new Chancellor, and Maul would be back as a crime lord. Because once the Emperor was dead, that opened a vacuum up for power, dude.
Right.
And he was going to take an apprentice from Dathomir, and then that was going to be the new Vader Emperor kind of thing. And obviously, the
Okay.
apprentice would kill the master, right?
I mean, as is Star Wars
There,
tradition, kind of. Yeah.
two there
Like
are always.
the video games, the all the way from the video. I mean, that's the whole Force Unleashed storyline, right? Is like, you're Darth Vader's apprentice, and then
You're his secret apprentice.
secret
He's
apprentice.
not
Yes,
supposed to have an apprentice.
but like still, there's always two, right?
Yeah,
I
he
mean, I
was going
guess
to overthrow the Emperor. Yeah,
yeah, and like, uh, and then he doesn't. Okay, I guess your character. I don't remember his name, but your character in that series doesn't try to overthrow Darth Vader so much as take him down, or at least try to escape in the first one, and then like yeah, the second one, like try to completely topple the regime, I guess.
yeah,
That I will say, like, okay, so like we were talking about Leia's force power in episode 8, right, where she goes through that ship.
yeah.
Like force powers in the game Force Unleashed are kind of on that scale, right? Like you pull a Star Destroyer down into a planet in that game. Like you literally grab it out of the atmosphere and pull it to the planet's surface. It's not easy to do.
The dark side's always more powerful too, though, right?
Yeah, I believe at that point he is pulling from the dark side, but the whole game is that way. Like the whole game is like I mean, maybe not the point where you're
He is
traveling at light speed through freaking space. Yeah, I love that. I love that game because it's over the top, but that can't be canon. That kind of force power cannot be canon to me.
No.
I don't know. I don't
You'd
think it is
be a
anymore.
god.
But yeah,
Be a
he'd be
god.
unbeatable.
You could
He'd be
rupture
unbeatable.
somebody's. You could just break somebody's bones in their body.
Yeah. Literally, like explodes somebody's eyeballs at their head by just thinking about it. Like that's quite insane. And so, like,
I always like the way that they said that Star Wars was. It was a space western with samurais.
Okay.
That's a good way to sum it up, really.
It is like I know everyone calls it it's a
yeah.
space opera, but I think that's way more accurate, actually.
Yeah. They take a lot from the samurai. And absolutely Han Solo is a gunslinger.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He's the Jesse James of the galaxy.
He's a smuggler, right? Like he's a
he's a smuggler too, yeah.
So like that's like his like like he's that bad guy with a good heart kind of thing.
Yeah. I did like
now.
the fanfare of 7. I also hated the fanfare of 7.
But if they could have played it out into 8 and 9 with a better or with a continuous director, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't have been so bad.
Bro, how old is Chewbacca? Like, honestly.
I don't know how old Wookiees live, but I believe it is quite long. Like a few hundred years.
That was one of my favorite things from Old Republic, is actually going to Kashyyyk.
Yeah, a lot of
that was really
games.
Cool.
I really love going to Kashyyyk in a lot of games, actually. Battlefront, one of my favorite places to go. Is
yeah,
Kashyyyk.
Great. Even the beginning of we were just talking about it. Force Unleashed. The beginning of Force Unleashed, you were in Kashyyyk.
Yeah, that's right. You are.
Yep.
I've played the game for so long, so.
You're running through just chopping up those poor Wookiees, dude.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And doesn't he have?
I love Darth Vader's powers.
Yeah, I do too.
In that opening sequence of that game, you can chuck a Wookiee miles, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, isn't his powers kind of unleashed too
Yeah, Vader is pretty
in that
ridiculous in
game?
that too.
Which like isn't canon as far as episode 4, 5, and 6. He doesn't have that kind of strength because Luke would have had no chance.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Or did maybe he lose his ways as he had
You
nobody else
know,
to fight?
you know what we failed to mention with licensing and marketing and stuff? Robot Chicken and Family Guy.
Oh, fair, man. You know, and some of my favorites too
Yeah.
is honestly like that those Robot Chicken for sure were really meant something to me in high school. And I love the Family Guy ones, if not for just the gags the way they make fun of.
Yeah.
What about
I love them
Spaceballs,
poking
even,
fun.
bro? Like as parody, right? Like they actually worked with
Yeah,
LucasArts to make that. Like it's
Yeah.
like they made it in conjunction with LucasArts or with George Lucas at least. I don't know if it's LucasArts, but
Yeah, sure, of course.
like that movie's a complete parody
There's a
of
lot
that
of them, man.
film, and like Star Wars fans love it. Isn't that weird? Like most people who
Yeah.
most
Can
people
you
would
say the
hate
same
that.
about the Star Trek fandom? Can you say
Yeah,
the same about the Star Trek fandom?
I don't think they would. I don't think they would appreciate the parodying as much, right? Or would they? I guess they do, right? Beam me up, Scotty.
I don't know. I've seen them like really tear down the Orville, Seth MacFarlane's new show,
Okay.
because it
I haven't
is
watched it.
like a straight remake of like what Star Trek was.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen the deck, like I've
In
seen the
modern
flight
day,
deck and
yeah.
everything. Yeah, and I guess it does look a lot. I kind of thought that's what they were going for, like a parody of that. A parody of like space films and sci-fi. So I
No,
haven't watched it though.
it tackles like real life stuff. It tries to send a message every episode.
On that topic, what are
one
your
of those.
favorite Star Wars clones? Like, do you have any like other series that are basically similar to Star Wars that really?
Oh,
got
I
your
thought-
attention?
I think you asked me about Clone Troopers.
No.
Yeah, but similar. You mean like gaming wise?
Either
I mean,
way,
of
like
course,
just
right?
series wise. But yeah, gaming would make sense. Yeah.
Like okay, so like gaming wise, stuff that I bring back to my love of Star Wars is like Star Fox and No Man's Sky.
I was just
Like
gonna
No
say
Man's Sky to me is like holy shit. Brand this with Star Wars and you have $1 billion idea.
Yeah.
People would buy this in droves. If they would even get a couple ships, dude. You know, No Man's Sky meets Star Wars, and you could just get like Boba's Slave One, and Anakin's ship from 3. And they even have the fleets, right? You can get the massive fleets in that game.
Yeah.
X-wing, anything. You know, what are you waiting for? Money, print it.
And
But
like
yeah,
they
the
would
Star
easily
Fox
get
games.
it.
Oh, easy, yeah.
Yeah.
It sells so well. The Star Fox games, a lot like the Rogue Squadron of
Okay.
that era.
Yeah. I guess right. Yeah.
Yeah, as for clones of that, yeah, that's what come to my mind.
Okay. I mean, I would have to agree with
What
No
about you?
Man's Sky as far as exploration wise goes. Like, I would say that Star Wars drove my love of those kind of games and wanting to explore. But I would say Minecraft also kind of helped me want to get into No Man's Sky, like my love of Minecraft. So, but
Sure.
I guess I don't know. As far as like series go, mine is like I probably wouldn't be interested in like even like comics. They don't rate clones, I guess. You know, I'm not gonna put this here, but I wouldn't even personally really be interested in like comic book movies and stuff if it wasn't for Star Wars or like movies in general. Probably, you know, like for real. Like so, I can kind of tie everything back to it because as a fan of CG and VFX, that is Star Wars. Like that was 100% what sold me for Star Wars. The story came next, like the story and the love of the actors and the creators of this content. That came after me learning because the first thing I saw of Star Wars well, minus episode 1. My brother showed me episode 1, but the first thing I saw after that was these VFX, these special effects, special edition VHS, right? And the first hour and a half of every single one of those DVDs, every single one of those VHSs is the making of the film. So I saw, before I watched episode 4 ever, I saw the making of the film. And
Right.
that's
You
what
see how
sold
they
it
did
for me. Yeah. And I've watched those 5 or 6 hour movies with the with the special stuff in front of it. It's like a 4 or 5, I don't remember exactly, long hour thing, and I would sit there and watch it repeat on repeat. Like I loved it. So I think everything really for me. So that's kind of a hard question for me to go through.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to play Revenge of the Sith on PS2? I think it came on Xbox as well, but
I never played any of the movie titled games.
so that game came out a significant time before the film came to theaters, at least where we were,
Yeah.
and it had snippets and clips of the film in it. Like, going in to watch the film after beating that game, I knew exactly what was going to happen next.
That's weird.
And I don't know if that was a wise
Intentional?
idea
Or
to
was
sell
Yeah.
that before the film.
A lot of times what happens usually is like a company will get the contract to do that, and then they make a game that kind of relates to the film but isn't really the film. But it doesn't sound
Right.
like that's what happened this time.
Yeah. It had actual cutscenes from the film.
That's pretty crazy. Usually they don't
Yeah.
work that closely. But it is LucasArts, I guess, right? Like it's LucasArts making a
LucasArts.
game about Lucasfilms.
Right.
And so like they probably have more access than most companies would have, because usually you'd have like a publisher or a developer making a game from Home Alone, you know, instead of Home Alone making a game about Home Alone. Beautiful
Oh, man,
games,
the
you know,
Home
like some of
Alone
my
games.
favorites.
Yeah, so
yeah.
fun. So
You
fun.
know, speaking of John Williams,
So fun.
yeah, man. Maybe not. Maybe there are some pretty bad retro games out there. But okay, so there's that. Is Star Wars not one of the most? Okay, is not one of the least screwed up franchises on video games, right? Like every other series gets a port to video games, like movie, like whatever gets a port to video games, and they ruin it. The video game is awful. Superheroes
for the most part.
to Batman. The Arkham series is good, but that was kind of another first for them.
Right. Yeah, for the most part, all the Star Wars games are good.
There are bad
I'm trying to think
ones.
of a bad one. I'm
Like
trying
the
to think
Wii
of a bad
ones. Okay, there are cheesy ones, right? They're not bad, but like there's like the Wii ones that are like just kind of exploiting the name of Star Wars. But like you even
I'm trying
love,
to think of blatantly bad though.
yeah, I don't know. Is there any like Nintendo? But even those are pretty good. I've played a lot.
I
of those.
suppose you get back to like Atari 2600 days, but that's back then. That was amazing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I still enjoy them because of what they are, you know. So that's pretty. Yeah,
I
don't
can't think of any.
Yeah,
Honestly
right.
can't.
So it is one of the few movie franchises, and it's probably because they had their own game studio that didn't screw up
Yeah.
their video games.
But on the same note, the studio and film, there's some shite Indiana Jones games.
Fair, and that's LucasArts
There's some
too,
really
right?
bad Indiana Jones games. Yeah. But you're right, Star Wars as an IP, not so much.
No. I mean,
Maybe
even
they care
third
about
party,
one more than the other, you know?
I will say, like I was telling you about that Game Boy Advance game. That was pretty hard to play. But you're talking about like I think it was a port of. It might have been Revenge. Actually, it might have been Revenge Episode 3 on
Sure.
the Advanced.
Yeah,
on
it
the
would
Game
have been
Boy
around at the
Advance.
same time.
It might have been that game.
Yeah.
And so it was like a port of that to the Game Boy Advance. You know, like it wasn't that good. It was like top-down view, I think, or like not completely, but kind of. I really don't remember
Right.
which game it was. I'm sure if I saw
There's
it.
so many on that console. So it's really hard to.
Yeah. And it wasn't my console. I didn't own it. So, like, you know, I just played it every once in a while.
Right.
As with my whole childhood. Played all your consoles. Other friends.
That's
Never
what they're
my
for, man.
own.
That's what they're
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. No, totally. They're there to share. We should all share video games. That's why we're sharing the word.
I think I might shut this down here. Maybe
Getting
give
a
it
little
another
hot.
5 years. Yeah, maybe get another 5 years of play.
Yeah, I mean we've actually been on here for about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, I think. I'm not sure with the internet outage we had, what we're at, but I'm sure we're about 2 hours in.
Right.
Is there any like last minute topics here that we don't have scripted or on the top of your head that you're like want to cover before we say goodbye to the audience?
Check out Bad Batch. It's going to be on Disney Plus right now, presumably, unless it comes out tonight.
Yeah, you did just buy Republic Commando for the Switch, so if you want to check out any of that, I'm sure if you're ever playing it while you're going streaming, I'm sure that'll happen eventually. So,
I think if I'm going to stream a Star Wars Switch game, it's going to be Episode 1 Racer.
Okay. So if you want to check that out, if you're ever around while you check that out, check him out at Steve Arici on Twitch. And I'll be doing some streaming too. I've been playing Final Fantasy lately. I'm actually, after going and playing Dark Forces again, I've never beat the game anyway. I think I might go back and beat it. And
yeah, absolutely.
It was pretty fun. I played like 3 levels and it was really fun. So, and yeah, and if you guys have any of your favorite Star Wars games, make sure you comment them below. We want to hear what you guys recommend for us to play, because Star Wars is one of our favorite franchises. I've seen the original 3 episodes at least 200 times a piece, I swear, but everything else not so much. So yeah, we would love to hear that. Yeah, I guess thanks for listening, right? Thanks for tuning in and checking out Skorne's Lair. 3rd ever episode, bro. In the bag. You got anything for the audience, an outro or anything?
I'm gonna have to say, may the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
And thank you for watching. Seriously, check out Disney Plus. Doing some great things. And we're out. Take care.
Yeah, it was good.